Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Final Fantasy III, no not that one. I'm your host, the Lorerunner, no not that one. And I'm here to tell you that I hit the wrong button. It's very important to hit the wrong button when you're playing a game like this. Now, two things I want to say really quick before we actually get started by anything. First of all, I got 2 donations while we were off camera, which I want to acknowledge on camera. One donation was from my very good friend Third, who donated to rename Locke Bubbert. Unfortunately, Bubbert actually doesn't fit. We're limited to 6 characters. So we had to make do with that one. I got another donation from some guy named Pineapple Pizza Forever, in all caps. He donated to rename Pandemona in FF8 Caleb No Tonberry. Unfortunately, that is way too long, so Frieza, if you're watching this on the VOD or right now, do me a favor and let me know what you want that to be renamed. It's a 9-character limit, I believe. Yep, 9-character limit. Right now, I just have it down as Caleb. Anyways, so I want to ask everyone a hypothetical, okay? Imagine for a moment that you are designing the overall... It's called scenario designing, okay? You are designing the arc and path that a story is going to go through. Not the specific dialogue, you know, just the general gist of things. Aw. In the next version, you can actually get on the ship and struggle against the chain, which is kind of neat. But it looks like we can't here. Anyways, now here's your objectives, okay? Objective number 1. You need to get the party a large influx of cash, okay? Because they just entered, like, a new tier of difficulty and power level. You know how it is. You know, most RPGs have that thing where you enter a new area or you go to a new part of the overworld map and you enter a new tier, right? Logical. So you need to give them an influx of cash so they can get some upgrades, okay? First objective. Second objective, you want the party to take a breather. They just fought an extremely hard boss, the Kraken. And they've just entered, like, what is effectively the second phase of the story, so you need to do something to kind of ease them into it. So you need kind of a breather period. And you need to make sure they go through things in a linear order, so you don't want them to have access to the ship right away. So how do you accomplish this? Keep in mind you have effectively any option available to you. I mean, you're the one designing the scenario. Also, forgive me, I will try not to sniffle on camera. I'm having a few allergenic/nose-related issues. Okay, so have them fight a drunk noble who eventually goes, ooh, and gives them free money. How do you prevent them from having a ship, though? Come on. There we go. Yeah. Hey, Killer Beans. And let's see, who else we got? Darkrai, Online Gamer, Final Cloud, Pnuma, Geludo, Lazy, More Cowbell, Kimarusco, Jason Bauer, Sonashi is here, Necro Gangster is here. I think that's it. I like Online Gamer's idea. I'm with it. Hey, Blue Wolf. So, for those of you who've played this game, you already know the answer to this question, but for some reason... Hey, Grunge. I'm raising my eyebrow at you. Hey, Enigma. For some strange reason, this is the scenario they went with to accomplish those objectives. First, we have the local lord, the guy who runs this particular region, be a guy obsessed with gold, who has decided to claim... He's very, you know, rich off of the backs of the poor kind of a guy. So when this ship shows up, he chains it up. With a golden chain, of course, because it has to be gold. I mean, it has to be. Then, we have to go through a mini-dungeon to get access to the float spell in order to go across the swamp to reach Goldor's mansion in order to kill and fight him. And in his mansion are a huge amount... Well, it's like 9 or 12, I forget exactly how much, but there's a fairly large amount of gold equipment in his mansion, which is all junk. All of the gold equipment, if you even glance at it, has terrible stats, as it should. It's gold. but it sells for a lot. So 2 dungeons, little bit of a breather episode here after the events of coming down to, you know, and fighting Kraken. Get lots of money and restrict us because of the ship. All of the objectives are met here, but why this? Every time I play this, I'm like, what? Huh? Anyways. Alright, so I need to talk to 2 people here specifically. And hello, Gen and Sophie. Hope I'm saying that right. And Veldrin and Poke Special. No, not you. Let's see. I think I have to go over there, but I need one other person too. Also, funny fact, these buildings aren't quite 3D. You can kind of tell as you're looking at them. I mean, they are 3D objects, but they're not fully there. Like, if I was able to tilt the camera to the side, which I can't, obviously, you would see that they're basically just cardboard cutouts. It's very strange. I am glad he survived the surgery, Enigma. I know exactly what you're going through. I have been through that 5 times in my life now. And I'm with you, man. That's all I got, you know, I'm with you. Where is this guy? He should be, like, right around here. Yeah, they did the exact same thing in Link Between Worlds. Okay, I'm gonna guess he's in here, because I'm not finding him. So, plot-wise, what we're doing right now is we're looking for the 4 Heroes of Light. Yes, really, that is actually our goal. Here we go. You might be like, what do you mean about the 4 Heroes of Light? Well, there they are. All joking aside, those guys do make me laugh pretty much every time I see them. I'm glad you liked the Star Trek ones, Blue Wolf Alex. So now that we've seen them, we need to get into the sewers because we're looking for Levigrass shoes. Because, you know, we need to go across the swamp. But where are the chosen ones? Those 4 claim they are too. They say they're going into the sewers. Well, then we'll beat them to the punch. Yeah! To the sewers, gentlemen! Tally-ho! And yes, I did have an excellent time with my niece and my sis yesterday. Thank you for asking. She hasn't learned a lot yet, but she is young, and it's her first 2 days at school. She's only met 1 person that she's actually interacted with so far, so we'll see how that goes. Yeah, these 4 guys are great. They're just 4 completely ordinary people. I'll talk more about that later, but I do love the fact that they're just 4 ordinary people who don't want to acknowledge the fact that... Oh, shoot. That they're 4 ordinary people. Hang on a second. I just realized we don't have Enknun on. And we need Enknun. There it is. I knew it, Blue Wolf. Which ones, out of curiosity? Come on, where's the no encounters? There it is. Yes, but it would waste time, it did. And I don't know about you, but I'm not interested in wasting time. Oh, so let's talk about my second topic today. So, FF3 should be an easier game. I'm just going to drop that bombshell right off the beginning there. Anyone who wants to disagree is more than welcome to. But here's the reasoning behind that statement. Oh, by the way, obligatory sewer level, while we're on the subject. The reason I say that is because FF3 is a very lighthearted, silly, fun adventure. Even for the parts which actually have, you know, darkness to them, no pun intended. This game is still just kind of a, yeah, adventure kind of a game for throughout almost the entirety of it. I mean, for God's sakes, the 4 heroes of light here are being threatened by the 4 frogs of light. That's, I mean, you know? I mean, yeah, there are a couple of dark parts of this game, but for the most part, it's just, hurrah, let's go! Let's do it, let's have some fun. Let's turn down the volume a bit, there we go. I can understand that, Blue Wolf. That's actually really funny, considering how much effort I put into both of those, but I understand. There's only so much you can do when you actively dislike a work, you know? Anyways. A hearty help and a thanks upon you. I thought we were done for. Thought we were the warriors from the legend. But I guess we weren't. Oh well, that's settled then. We advise you to head back to town for your own safety. Let's talk to him first. Thank you again. I guess we're getting too old for this. We'll just stay here and rest up a bit. Suck up the ambiance. Thanks again, eh? I guess that guy's right. Boards don't hit back. So I guess that means you 4 are the warriors from the legend. Yes, good plans. But with such a... If you're going to have a game that is as difficult and as brutal and as unforgiving as this game is, and believe it or not, this game is actually quite rough. Not properly difficult. Pretty much every aspect of difficulty in this game is artificial difficulty. But it is very artificially difficult. And as such, it's like... I made the comment yesterday. You know, that this game is just a nice chill run. Let's just go relax and enjoy the game. But it actually isn't because of that difficulty. But it should be. The only other option is to completely revamp the story to make it fit the difficulty better. And personally, I'd rather just dumb down the difficulty to make the difficulty fit the story, in my opinion. No. There's really nothing that broken in this game. Probably the most broken class is the Geomancer, and even that is kind of a RNG fest. This game came out 7 months before the SNES came out. I forget the year, but that's when it was. So she literally throws me the shoes. They're actually bombs. So this scene is kind of phrased weirdly, so it's not 100% clear what's going on. But the idea here is that the 4 heroes of light warned us that the lady was tossing us a bomb rather than the shoes, so because they say look out, we dodged the bomb and therefore didn't explode. So the 4 heroes of light saved us! They then tell Delilah, dude, no, they're the real deal. And Delilah's like, well, okay, I'll believe you 4 since I actually know you 4. And then she gives us the real leathergrass shoes. Teleport! Oh yeah, also the old guys know teleport for some reason. I will try. I won't be talking too much about the bricks in FF4, because the bricks are terrible in FF4. Ugh, some of the worst bricks I've ever seen. But I will hate Edge, because I hate Edge. I can't even help hating Edge. I'm not sure I could not hate Edge. Save. Alright. So now it's time for Goldor's dungeon. Cobra Kai? Guys, what's Cobra Kai? Also, there's something I want to both praise this game about and at the same point just kind of look at weirdly. So obviously, I actually do like the aesthetics of this place. I think they did a good job with this on the DS version. Look at this. This actually does look like a place that's been, you know, coated in gold. Probably a little bit expensive, but, you know, what are you going to do? I mean, when you have all of this money, it makes sense, right? So, I don't want to exactly accuse this game of having an in-depth story and backstory, but what I do want to say is that FF3 was pretty much the first time where they sat down and said, you know what we really need to do? We need to come up with some whys. FF1 and FF2 both had the same problem. By the way, this is what I meant about the money infusion. I'm actually just doing this to show this off. You see how many gold swords we're getting here? This is the huge money infusion, which is good because both this town, the one we were just at, and the next town, which I can't remember the name of, have better gear for us that we can go buy. Anyways. So, I don't actually remember where the spot is now. FF1 and FF2 had things, places, but neither of them had a why. It was just... Well, it was kind of like D&D, actually, when you're playing just a regular D&D session, where it's like, here's a kingdom, and there's a cave which happens to have a wyvern. At no point is there an explanation for the cave, or the wyvern, or why there's a kingdom there. It's just, they're there, they're set pieces, rather than actually designed. Do I have that already? I don't think I do. No, I don't think so. So, you know, FF3 at least bothered to make just a little bit of backstory. And I do like that. I like the fact that they were like, hey, so why don't we just make a little bit of a world that we're going through rather than just a bunch of connected set pieces? And so we have the next several parts of the plot, and actually some of the parts of the plot we've already gone through. Oh, right. I need to be a thief for this. Yay. I also talked about bricks in FF6, but, you know. Anyways, so what we have here, this is really threadbare. It's the kind of thing that nowadays you'd look at and you'd be like, that's backstory? But at the time, the idea of a rich guy who happened to sit on the backs of the poor and constantly take everything of theirs in order to try and build himself up this whole gold mansion thing, or a kingdom that's currently being engaging in excessive military activity, despite the fact that it was a peaceful organization before, because of this, you know, new vein of resources they found and the darkness spreading. These are all very, very basic aspects of world building, but they're at least there at all. So here's Goldor in his gold armor. He's technically a boss. I just realized that his stats are going to go to hell. Whatever. Oh, encounter. You can do it, Kelson. You might be undead. It's okay, his cape isn't made of gold. That would be ridiculous. In real life, I don't know, I'm probably about level 35 or so, give or take. Stay away. If I can't have the crystal, neither will you. And then he destroys the crystal. Because we totally believe that some random rich guy who happens to love gold destroyed the crystal. That's definitely what happened. Oh yeah, that reminds me, I need to check my jobs here. Of course, Kay. I mean, it's only one of the 4 pillars of the entire world. It's not like you can't just walk up and smack it once with your gold-plated fist. Sorry. Do we have... Let's see. So now we've got... looks like Dragoon, Viking, Dark Knight, Evoker, and Bard. So nothing I actually want yet. We need to get the last job thing. So, funnily enough, we get the first 3 crystals pretty quickly. I'm sure you guys paid attention to that. First crystal we start off with. Second crystal we get very shortly thereafter. Third crystal we get as we enter the overall world. The 4th crystal we don't get until basically the end of the game. Now, that was designed, that's because of the original NES version, because in the original NES version, the final crystal gave you the Mega Jobs. Most importantly and noteworthy, Sage and Ninja, which, as I talked about yesterday, were incredibly overpowered. They were intended to be the end game jobs, and if you had anyone in your party who was not a Sage or a Ninja, you were doing it wrong. Seriously, Sage can cast all magic, including summon magic. And Ninja hits like a gosh darn truck. Pardon my language. So anyways, now the world's doomed. It's good to know. I don't think I need him to be a thief for a while, if ever. That's ridiculous, Casual. Anybody with some golden gauntlet could totally make this happen. What job would I be from FF3? Probably Scholar. Let's be honest. Oh yeah, I should clarify that you don't actually get Sage and Ninja in the NES version until you get to Eureka, whereas in the DS version you get them from the Fire Crystal, or Earth Crystal, whatever the last one is. Yay. Come on, there we go. So now we have access to the whole world! Now, because the airship's kind of slow, I'm actually not going to showcase this, but as I mentioned earlier, we actually can't access everywhere yet. There are quite a few places we can't access because we don't have the Nautilus, and we don't have the Invincible. Notably, that entire upper, like, that northeast part of that, the eastern continent, we can't access. We can't access the maze in the western continent there. We can't access any of the underwater stuff. I don't know why I was thinking fire was last. I don't know. So good news, guys. I did some research, and I discovered some stuff that people can use in order to help them, help voice actors with soreness and problems in their throat to keep the membranes together and not mess up. So I've ordered a bunch of stuff, which should be here today! So I could keep talking all day, every day. Oh, speaking of which, I know most of you don't give a damn, but if you'll remember, we're doing a new lighting setup in order to try and prevent headaches, and so far, I haven't actually had any headaches while streaming, so I think that was a good move. So anyways, this is another example of that whole setting building thing. This was kind of brand new, and arguably has never really been done the same way since. You could debate this back and forth, but even in later FFs, you wouldn't find a town that's actually 4 separate towns. You see this little quadrant? And this one up here. If you go into each of these, they are actually separate towns. This is the metropolis city of Sironia, I think, or something like that. Wait, no, I can land here. I can land here. Wait, no, I can't? Thought I could. I'm wrong. Oh, right, I gotta do this little cutscene first. Right, forgot about this. So, we're 4 kids in an airship that has no guns. So... It's okay, we didn't need that airship anyway. It's cool. It's cool. We only lost, what, 2 airships now? So... They didn't really know how to do cutscenes back on the NES, so the only way they could show that there's a massive internecine conflict, basically a civil war, is by having us fly in, have the ships, you know, have the cannons attack us, and then they show this to show that there's a war going on, see? We have no choice but to fight. If we lose, we'll be executed. You know, I love it how, sometimes in fiction, a writer will go very far out of their way to come up with an in-depth, complex reason for why common soldiers won't disobey orders even if they disagree with them or they're terrible. And then sometimes they just say, well, we have to because it's the king. Yeah, no, they've got other things to worry about. So, back to where I was trying to go originally. Sironia, I was right. Hey, what's up? The king doesn't listen to anyone. The last person who tried to advise him was run through on the spot. So, this is part of what I meant earlier about my tone thing. This whole... So, all of these are like little mini-stories, right? Sironia is another mini-story, and it's actually probably some of the best character development in the entire game. The problem is, this is something very, very dark. This is a kingdom that is in full oppression mode. All of the shops are closed. We can't actually buy anything here until we beat the next boss, which sucks, by the way. Oh, I need to save. That's a good point. Let's save, like, right now. Well, yeah, I can save in a minute. I don't need to save right now. Anyways. So everything's locked down. People are literally being executed for questioning the king, and the king is forcing his own forces to fight themselves or suffer penalty of death for failing to do so. Also, Fat Chocobo. Just thought wanted to show that off there. Anyways, so this is a pretty dark situation. Doesn't really feel like it, but it is. Is this it? Yep, this is it. I was right. Get a load of this. This boy thinks he's the prince. I hope you know what the punishment is for impersonating a member of the royal family. Or house. Well, obviously, Ganon... How am I supposed to say that, by the way? Ganon Sophie? So anyways, I like how it's Ark who steps up here and is like, hey, stop that. And suddenly they mutate into those things, because why wouldn't they be gold knights? This is not an example of Dragon Quest effect. This is actually more a severe example of a SNES RPG. In other words, if you actually sit back, take yourself out of the moment, and think about the situation, you can understand the complexity of it and the depth of it. But you have to do that because the game itself doesn't provide it. Which is what the whole concept of SNES RPG means. Oh yeah, we'll be job leveling for a bit. I turned on a cheat to increase our job levels because that will actually increase the damage we're doing. So Ark steps up and is like, hey! And he's like, hey, I am Alice, son of King Gorn, and rightful heir to the throne of Sironia. Thank you for your help, brave ones. Prince Alice, what's happening in this country? My father, the king, he suddenly ordered our soldiers to fight amongst themselves. I tried to stop him, but not only did he refuse to listen to me, he threw me out of the castle. Which he actually did to protect him. Adventurers, I must ask for your help. I need to get back into the castle and convince my father to cease this nonsense. We're with you, Prince Alice. We'll do our best. I can ask for nothing more than that, thank you. By the way, it is worthy of note that, again, this is pretty much the only real character arc in the entire game, and it's for a character named Ark. I don't know if that's deliberate or not. I don't think it is. But it's interesting that they did that, because this is unique to the DS version, because there is no Ark in the NES version. There's just the 4 Onion Warriors. So, hang on. We're going to save, because this might actually be the hardest boss in the entire game. Seriously. Especially if you have no idea what you're doing. Prince Alice, stand aside. Let me through. I can't, sire. You've been branded exile by the king. Wait. Oh, okay. My apologies, sir. You may go through now. By the way, I'm not actually exaggerating about the hardest boss thing. This boss is designed to require Dragoons. We, if you'll notice, are not Dragoons. That's why I saved before doing this. So this cutscene is unique to the DS version, where Prince Aelus and Ark talk to each other. And Aelus says, I can't help but wonder, what's happened to my father? Why would he expel his own son? Do you think he doesn't love me anymore? Sire, no parent would ever lose their love for their children. Sorry, let me just laugh for a second. Okay. Your father must have had a good reason for doing this. Don't worry. I'm sure the king will explain everything come tomorrow. I guess you're right. So, in the middle of the night, I've pointed this out before. Our heroes are actually really stupid. We've had like 1,000 pieces of information saying that this king is stupid, horrific evil. And he suddenly invites us in for the night and says, yeah, we'll have an audience tomorrow. And of course the reason is so he can walk in here and stab us to death. But, Father, what are you doing? Yes, what are you doing? Why'd you stop? Kill him now! That's Gigameth, not to be confused with Gilgamesh. So the king kills himself. Yes, I want to make that clear. The king just committed suicide. Because, well, the king basically had a keeper. Gigameth had him under a spell. I would rather die than hurt my son. Your plans are foiled. Now, this is actually kind of clever in its own quiet way. The idea here, other than the fact that the king just committed suicide, I want to rehash that point again, is the fact that Gigameth had gotten arrogant. He had managed to convince the king to basically destroy his own kingdom, but that's a distant thing. I've talked about this concept so many times, because, just to rehash really quick, if you have to stab someone, that's actually a very difficult thing to do. I mean, you can under the right circumstances or the wrong circumstances, but it's much harder than pushing a button or ordering someone to push a button. So convincing the king to order his troops to go kill each other, that's easy. Ordering the king to personally stab his son, that's not happening. And there's certain things that it just can't actually, it's just too much. So I actually kind of like the presentation here of that one point. I'll have it your way. I'll just skip to the part where I kill you all. This scene was actually still pretty good. It just missed most of the Ark stuff here, since Ark didn't exist. So this is Garuda. We may die. We may legitimately die on this fight. We'll find out. Hey, Max time. So he is a one-trick pony boss. He is literally designed to the point where you need to use a Dragoon in a standard playthrough to kill him. You literally want 4 Dragoons to fight this guy. We may be able to just power through this. Now, that may not have looked like a big deal, him hitting us for 400 or 700. Consider the fact that I am level 99 and he's still hitting me for 700. You should have a lot less than 8,000 health when you're actually fighting this guy legit. But he is super weak to Dragoons. Yeah, exactly, Nose Wager. If he hadn't gotten overconfident and had just walked in and stabbed Aelus himself, he probably would have won this scenario. So we did it. Woo! Father! It's okay. You have a white mage. I'll be fine. I was afraid you'd never forgive me for what I'd done to you. But you came back. That's what gave me enough strength to break Gigameth's bonds. No. You being ordered to do something that Gigameth never should have done was what allowed you to break the bonds. You literally just said that. The kingdom is yours now. Stop the war and bring peace back to its people. I'm counting on you, son. Wait, but... No, but Dad... Yep, he's dead. I mean, in fairness, this is another situation in which someone basically gave themselves a mortal blow, and then we had a boss battle, so you have to keep in mind, while we're off fighting Garuda, the king's over here bleeding out. In other words, this actually isn't inconsistent. The idea here is that he drifted from downed into dead while we were fighting Garuda. So... I don't actually think they did that on purpose, but it does nevertheless make sense. Especially since you are supposed to be spending quite some time fighting Garuda, since, again, Garuda is, in all honesty, a very difficult boss, even if you got the Dragoon set up. I remember one time I was playing this game. I don't actually remember which version, to be honest with you. I think it was the DS version. No, it was the DS version. I got to this point in the game, and I'm fighting Garuda, and I'm like, all right, 4 Dragoons, I got this. And he wrecked me. wasn't quite ready. Okay, so now we have access to all of Sironia. I'm not sure if we need to do anything else here. Honestly, I'm not sure. It is unfortunately inconsistent how strong white magic actually is in lore. Like, we know it can heal stab wounds, or cut wounds, or whatever, burn wounds, but what else it can do, I don't actually know. I'm missing a step. And I don't remember where it is. Shoot! And this is a large area, which I don't want to go exploring right now, so give me a second. It's okay, I actually have a walkthrough. Oh yeah, this is a good time to talk about something else. In general, Necro Gangster. Okay, so we did that, then there's Garuda, who we fought, blah 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 blah, don't care about any of the gear. Ah! That's where it is. Okay, figured it out, we're good. See, I know I need to talk to someone to go get my airship repaired. Because we need to get the hell out of Dodge. So... I'm going the wrong way. Gosh darn it. FF3 also did something else that was pretty new for the time. And that would be optional stuff. FF1 and FF2 on the NES didn't have any optional stuff. Like, I mean, you could argue that you have to go and level and all that stuff, but that's it. There's no real optional stuff. FF3 suddenly cranked that up to 11 and has tons of optional stuff. Odin is optional, Bahamut is optional. There's 2 towns you never have to go to, ever. Actually, I think there's 3 towns you never have to go to. The entire place, you don't even have to go to Eureka, which is even funnier to me, because if you pay attention to the story, the whole point of a lot of what we're doing over the next several hours of gameplay is trying to unlock the path to Eureka, specifically so we can get the ancient weapons, which are supposedly required to, you know, to fight the darkness, but we never have to go there. Trying to think, there's a couple other things. There's an entire town on the floating continent, which is optional. Actually, there's 2 towns on the floating continent, which are optional. So this is the Nautilus. This is my favorite airship. In the NES version, the Nautilus was so fast, it was legitimately hard to control. At least for me. I'm sure you could disagree on that and tell me I'm terrible, and that's your purview, as always. But I had troubles. I had troubles with this thing. It's yeah. But this is our 3rd airship now, I believe. Is that where I have to go? Yep. Just making sure I'm in the right spot. So this is funny. You can get encounters here. Obviously, I have Enk none on, so I won't. But even on the airship, as you're flying through this pathway and 2 other areas in the game, I believe, you can actually get random encounters. That's true, there's also the ultimate weapons locked away by boss fights, which you don't have to fight, including the ribbons, for example. Who dares trespass inside the great wizard Doga's manor? Seize them! Kapopo! Okay, I gotta be honest, Moogles are not the most threatening things in the world. And yes, I did, Jack. Thank you for asking. It was a good day. Oh, I know you, don't I? Oh, yes, the Warriors of Light! Ah, good of you to come. I have something to tell you. The one who is summoning the world of darkness or summoning the darkness into the world is none other than Zande. Dun, dun, dun. Zande, Unei, and I were apprentices of the great magus, Noah. When Noah died... Oh, by the way, there's a character named Noah in a game that has a lot to do with flooding and the world being flooded. Moving on. When Noah died, he bestowed upon us gifts. The power of magic to me, the world of dreams to Unei, and to Zande, Noah granted him mortality. This is probably the best time to sit and just talk about Zande, because Zande was not pleased. He covered this world in darkness and stopped the flow of time. His plan was to stay his eventual demise by halting time itself, which, in addition to the fact that... Oh my god, Enigma, really? In addition to the fact that that's actually the same plot of Ultimecia, for what actually amounts to be the same reason, it doesn't make a lot of sense when you really sit back and think about it. Picture this from Zande's perspective for a second. If I eventually grow old and die, everything will just go black and I'll just stop. But I have a better idea. What I will do is I'll freeze time so everything will go black and I'll just stop. I mean, if you picture it, if we hadn't broken the stasis, from Zande's perspective, what he did was effectively the same as dying. And that was his decision to try and not die, was to, oh, you can't kill me, I'll kill myself. I mean, I know he's not actually dead, but again, if he had succeeded, he effectively had just died. Especially from his perspective. So, I mean, to quote the Avengers, not a great plan. Yeah, it's funny. Zande is basically the actual villain of the game. The Cloud is... Well, we'll talk about her later, because there's actually a decent amount to talk about the Cloud. Of course... Well, see, here's the thing, Max Time. We already know exactly what it feels like to go into stasis. We've seen 2 presentations of it so far. Once with Sid, and once with the townsfolk, right? So there's no denying this. There's no getting around this. This is not me interpreting or me speculating. In the game itself, when you go into stasis and come out of it, you don't even notice the shift. You don't even notice going into it, and you don't even notice going out of it, right? So there's no perspective of just... It's just you froze, and then you unfreeze. But the relevant part there is, once again... If we hadn't unfrozen things, it would have just been... Oh, so that's a much better question. Did Zande himself know this? Possibly not. But at the same time, remember, this was his deliberate plan. He knew that doing this would freeze time. I mean, he said it's right on the screen right now. Zande's plan was to stay his eventual demise by halting time itself. So this was something he was doing deliberately with foreknowledge. With premeditation, you know? It's like, I need to freeze time. But then you appeared and restored time. However, Zande seems intent on stopping time again. Come! We must stop Zande! Yes, I know it's supposed to be pronounced Zande. No, I don't care. Come, you must escort me to the Cave of the Circle. In my room is a secret passage, switch, candle, yada yada yada. Let's go! First, let's talk to Doga really quick. The circle leads to a rift between dimensions. Yes, that rift. And that is where the key to Eureka lies. Eureka? Eureka is the land where the weapons of incredible power, created by the ancients, are sealed. Only those forbidden weapons, combined with the power of the Warriors of Light, will be powerful enough to defeat Zande. Again, I remind you, Eureka is optional. We actually probably will not go to Eureka. There's not a huge reason to go down there. Also, this is where the Moogles are in this particular game. There's a bunch of them here. So let's talk about Zande. I already talked about the interesting flaw in Zande's plan. What I really want to talk about... Oh, I think this is it. Nope, that's not it. That's the big chocobo. The really interesting thing about Zande is that, from one perspective, it's really easy to sympathize with him. In fact, it's so easy and so common that most people I've talked to who are thinking about this game or analyzing it don't even consider the other side of the perspective. All they think about is the fact that, God, Zande really got the shaft on this one. Now, of course, most people would say that because we are mortal. You know, we, real people, are... Oh, God damn it, that's right. This is why I just left him as a white mage, guys. We, as mortals, would probably prefer to not die. I know that sounds crazy, but there it is. So from a mortal perspective, from a real-life human perspective, it is really easy to sympathize with Zande. What was it, Dakota? Because Zande's gift was to grow old and die. He was gifted with mortality. Well, think about this for just a second. To you, my 3 apprentices, I grant the great power that I, the Magus Noah, have convened over my many years. To you, yes, it was Sarah. You're right. Thank you, Dakota. Don't forget that. Hey, Balbane. To you I grant the immense power of magic. To you I grant the incredible power over dreams. And to you I grant the ability to die! Thing is... Well, hang on. I think we have a boss fight here. We must hurry. My time has almost come. I will cast a spell on your ship so it may travel underwater. I don't know what that's supposed to mean. So now the Nautilus is a submarine. Not because of some technological advancement or anything like that. It just has a spell that was cast on it. Take from that what you will, but the general idea here is that Doga is a really powerful mage. He is, in fact, a sage. That's actually the term in this particular setting to what we would normally call an archmage or something similar. I actually have a term for this kind of a character in my own Imperial setting. It's called a silver mage. You know, basically someone who can cast everything and casts it well. So yes, this ship, which I remind you is built from pieces of the old ship, can now go underwater thanks to that. Anyway, so Zande. Hang on, I gotta figure out exactly where I'm going. Right there, I think. So, the thing is, one of the major... Did I go too far? I did go too far. This ship is too fast. Don't worry, the Invincible is actually slower than the basic ship. So that'll be great when we get there. So yeah, there's actually a whole underwater place, although there's only a couple of locations underwater. It'll be fine max time, although you're right, I probably should get rid of Mini now. There we go. One of the major themes of FF3, which was actually also a theme of FF1, and is a theme of FF9, and is a theme of FF10, and is also a theme of FF6, and kind of a theme of FF5. Basically, a lot of the FFs have this recurring theme, and I have a feeling this is a part of Japanese culture. I don't actually know. Yeah, this dungeon kind of sucks. And that is that unnaturally extending your life is a bad thing. Like, that's not the specifics of it, but that's the general gist of it. In fact, Lord of the Rings has the exact same theme running through it as well. No, there's no Emerald Weapon or anything like that underwater in this game. You know, the idea that, while of course, you know, dying sucks, living forever sucks more. I think that's probably the better way to present that. And we actually see demonstrably in this game the consequences of that. The game actually bothers to show us exactly what it's like. Do I really need to switch to a thief? Exactly what it's like in order to Eve. Well, it did come out later, name, so that would probably be why. And hello, Alfeg? Alef? I don't know how to pronounce it, but welcome to my channel. As I say to everyone who pops their head in here, don't be a stranger. I like chatting with viewers, as I think I've been demonstrating. Or if you want to lurk, that's okay too. Lurking is okay. I think we're on the right track. So, the game actually showcases exactly where this whole unnatural life thing... Okay, maybe it's a Buddhist thing. That might be where this is coming from. Because a lot of games, a lot of the FF series in particular, and a lot of fiction in general, has this thing where if you stretch your life out, like, it starts out okay, but the more you do it, the worse it gets. And again, this game physically shows you what it's like, the consequences of an artificially extended life. We see in Doga and Unei, both of whom actually envy Zande. Both of them think Zande got the best end of the deal. And of course, we see the world covered in darkness and the stasis as a consequence thereof. And we see the empty place that everything becomes, you know? It's actually pretty well done for a NES RPG to have that kind of a theme running undercurrent. So, at first glance, of course, you look at this and it's like, oh God, poor Zande, he got blessed with mortality. That's horrible. But when you actually sit and think about it, that effectively is the theme of the game. More so than balance, which I'll talk about in a second here. Now, it is worth knowing we don't know what happens after death in this particular game. Some of the FFs have specific rules for what happens after you die. For example, FF2 had the whole, the Jade Passage and the other passage, I forget what it's called, that lead to Hell and Heaven, respectively. FF7 has the life stream, FF10 has the Fireflies and the Far Plane, you know, etc. We don't actually know what happens after you die in FF3, but we do know you can stick around for at least a little bit, because some of the people who die in this game, who are dead, it's worth noting, not downed, just dead, still have an impact on the story. And yes, and FF12 has, congratulations, you died! Welcome to Horrific Nightmare! Anyways, Planescape Torment. Woo! You're right, Planescape Torment actually deals with the exact same topic, now that I think about it. I hadn't actually thought about that. So here's Noah's Loot, before I pick this up. I mentioned this because, again, FF3, they were just starting to do a lot of things. Like I said, I give this game a lot of credit because in many ways it is the proto-FF. I'll talk more about this when we get to FF4, probably tomorrow, but you could see the beginnings of what would effectively become the hallmark of the Final Fantasy series in this game. Most really good works of fiction, my opinion of course, have a central theme. I like to think of it as a pillar, like a massive pillar that you can then use in order to build, you know, the rest of your infrastructure around that. And so most of the rest of the story revolves around or is connected to or has something to do with the central theme. FF3's central theme is actually balance, but that barely comes in. It's almost not even presented. It basically, we don't even learn about the balance aspect of the game until we, except for the ancient town, which is up on the floating continent, and then, like, at the end of the game. And that's it. But the one actual recurring theme throughout it is that artificial lifespan thing. The idea that the old must pass for the new to take over. This is one of the reasons why the main heroes of this game, both in the NES version and in the DS version, are kids. And most of the people who die in this game are the elderly, or people who are naturally old, because the entire idea is the passing of the torch. And yes, that's also the same theme of FF5, although FF5 takes it further. In many ways, this game was also a proto-FF5. Anyways. Noah's Loot. Oh, cool, Cash. Yay! By the way, hi, Kai Snow. Alright, let's do this. Is that it? That was it, wasn't it? Did I not? I didn't. I'm sure there is, Kelson, but I can't think of one off the top of my head. Okay, so we got the loot. I think we're supposed to... Oh, I should save. I should save. Since I haven't saved in a bit. So someone earlier asked, what does it make to be a proper Final Fantasy? I was kind of trying to answer that question as I was talking through that whole speech earlier. I hope that did kind of answer it. You know, obviously I could say, you know, strong character focus, strong story and plot focus, blah, blah, blah. But a lot of the undercurring structure of a Final Fantasy is what, in my opinion, really makes a Final Fantasy. You know, story focus, obviously, strong character focus to some extent or another, interactive storytelling to some extent or another, but strong thematic core around which most of the events of the game present itself. And again, you could argue that that applies to a lot of things. So ultimately, for me, this is one of those gray things that's really hard for me to define. You know, it's... And of course, people are going to disagree. Some people say that Chrono Trigger is a Final Fantasy game. Some people say that Kingdom Hearts are Final Fantasy games. Some people say that the Mana series are Final Fantasy games, and we'll talk more about that tomorrow. So Unei's power was that of Dream. Okay, that was interesting timing. Thank you, first of all, Volcanto, and second of all, I'm amused that you just woke up Unei with your thing. Oh yes, also fear.
You did it! You did it!
Oh my, did I sleep well? Parrot, shoulder now.
Hi, ma'am.
Oh, I need to work out these sore limbs. Yah! So she gets up and Maida starts jogging around. No, seriously. This is in the NES version, too. She is a very spry, a very old woman who has power over most of the dreams. And as was mentioned earlier, it's kind of cool that she actually reached out to us in our dreams when we were in the earlier town, the one with Goldor. If you really think so, Necro, that's up to you. Nobody can really tell you you're wrong. Not really. I'm one of those weird people who believes that definitions should be vague when it comes to analyzing works of fiction. I mean, obviously we do need hard definitions for certain aspects of life. You know, engineering and programming both come to mind immediately for things that really, really need hard definitions in order to be able to function properly. But when it comes to, like, you know, what makes a Final Fantasy, here's another one for you that I've heard debated in the past. What makes a Star Trek a Star Trek? Some people would argue that existing Star Trek shows are not Star Treks. Some people would argue that, you know, the recent Star Trek movies are not Star Treks. And so forth and so on. Oh, God, I don't remember where to go next. Hang on. I went there, and I went there, and I went there. Hey, Progressive. Where's... Okay, so I did the Temple of Time. Oh, no, I didn't do the Temple of Time, did I? Or did I? Hang on. Nope, I did that, so I'm at the Ancient Ruins. Right, okay, I know where I'm going. It's gonna be the middle one, I think? I don't remember which one it is exactly, but it's one of these. Don't worry. I do actually know where I'm going. Holy crap, guys. Don't worry, basically from FF4 up to about FF10-2, I'd say. I have a much better idea of where I'm going. Yep, we're going to get the Invincible. The Invincible is an ancient airship that was the first mega airship that we actually get a hold of, the first endgame airship. Unless you count the original airship in FF1, or the airship at all in FF2, Also, arguably, the Dreadnought, FF2, but I digress. It's been a while. How have you been? I'm impressed you made it here so fast. Have you forgotten already? We met in your dream. Yeah! Fear. Thank you, Kai Snow, for the subscription. We've met in your dreams once before, where there was fear. In our dreams? I don't remember my dreams. Yeah, no, Amber, that was the name of the place. Oh, I told you I was the guardian of the world of dreams, didn't I? So yes, she kind of has access to, like, all of the dreams of the world. Just picture that for a moment. Again, basically both of the other two, Unei and Doga, were both given cosmic levels of power. Unei can reach out to the dreams of everyone on the planet, and Doga was made the most powerful sage on the planet. Zande was given mortality. I wouldn't want that ability either. I'd rather have Doga's ability. So, she has the ability to punch really hard. That's not a punch. She even said, whatever. Well, it wouldn't surprise me if there is some kind of after in this one, since, again, some of the dead people continue actually being a part of the plot in this game after being dead. Although it's not too bad, so it doesn't really bother me as much as it usually would. Yes, I don't care about the merchants. Although they do sell diamond gear. Can I equip, like, any of this? I guess I can. I probably should buy diamond gear, honestly. Yeah, I probably should. Hang on just a second. Oh, don't crash, don't crash, don't crash, don't crash. Okay, note to self, don't use infinite money. Just leave that there. Too many. Oh, that reminds me. So I tried to find my actual old DS cartridges, and I couldn't actually find it. Or to be slightly more accurate, I didn't have time this morning to look for it. I wanted to do it just to showcase just how much time I spent beating this game legitimately on the DS, which was quite a long period of time. No. Get a few of those, get a few of those, get a few of those, get a few of those. No, I know. Cloud of Darkness is brutal. I'm well aware of how brutal she is. And how incredibly unfair it is to lose to the Cloud of Darkness. And yes, that is why we cheat when we go through for lore runs. Unless you guys really want to watch me grind dragons in Bahamut's lair for the next billion years. Or, like, dozen hours. Let me give you an idea of how much grinding I did in this game. Now, granted, this was a save where I went after the super optional, the Iron Giant. But, regardless of that fact, I still had issues with the last boss. The Cloud is really rough in this game. I spent about a week or so of real time, grinding. Now, I don't mean solid, obviously. I mean, I had the DS, and any of you who've played the DS, you know, it's got the flip feature, right? So anytime I had some spare time at work, or when I was, you know, watching something or whatever, I'd just pop it open, run around, level, run around, level. It was a good 20 or so hours of solid grinding across the week. And then something happened, which I'll showcase, but just don't let me forget to showcase what happened after that. I know some of you already know the story. I'm backtracking, aren't I? Yes, the Cloud is actually harder in the DS version than in the NES version. Hey, Myron. The NES version is pretty rough, but as I said before, for a couple of reasons, the DS version in several ways is actually harder. Not only did they rebalance the classes, so there's no longer just the overpowered setup, but because of the nature of the battle engine, they actually buffed most of the enemies. In some cases, it makes them easier, as weird as that may sound, because there's less of them, and they didn't buff them equivalently. In some cases, it makes them much, much harder. So here's the Invincible. If I'm not mistaken, this is the first airship we actually can go inside of in the FF series. Yeah, I know how to drive the Invincible. I personally like the design of the Invincible in 3 better, although most of that's from the original NES version. The NES actually looks pretty... NES Invincible actually looks really cool. Like, if you want to go look up a picture, just look up Final Fantasy III Invincible. You should be able to find a picture of how cool this thing looked, even on the NES version. Okay. And then she's off. There's actually a line of thought here, and this is actually my own personal theory on the matter, that she was never with us. That she was actually just in our dreams, basically, in our minds the whole time. I don't know if that's true or not, I just kind of like the idea. Just gonna pick those up just in case. I don't need any of that. Come on. Can't equip those. Already got those. And yeah, we'll get a couple of those just in case. That's true, Enigma! We do have a bit of a bad record with regards to airships. Slightly bad. What? My hands are off the controls here. Hang on. Oh, did it fix? It fixed! Okay. Sure. Anyways, this is the Invincible. I still think it looks cool even in the DS version. Not as cool. Still cool. The whole point is it's this mega ship. It's basically a carrier/dreadnought. And it's kind of slow. Now, the good news is, in the DS version, it is as fast as a regular airship. In the NES version, it's actually slower than your regular airship. So it kind of sucks to fly around it. There are, however, 2 advantages of the Invincible. First, it can land basically anywhere because you can just pop out of the airship. So that's also nice. Second, it can go over little hops and mountains, so it's actually required to get to certain areas, which is actually one of the reasons we're going to right now. And third, there's actually a shop on board, so you have like a mobile town. This is officially the Freedom Point, by the way. This is the final Freedom Point of FF3. As of now, with access to the Nautilus and the Invincible, we can actually go everywhere. I believe this is the right spot? Yep. But just in case, I'm going to save really quick, in case my controls wig out on me again. There we go. Whoop, wrong way. Oh, right, I actually forgot. There's another thing. There's another aspect of this dreadnought, which is kind of interesting. So like I said, you can get encounters in certain airship areas while you are fighting on the Invincible, every turn, the Invincible's cannons also fire with you as just like a free action. This is kind of a neat mechanic, but honestly, I feel like they could have done this better, well, like they did in FF5, where there's some mountains you can cross and some mountains you can't, instead of doing this little hopping thing every frickin' time you want to go over one of these little nubs. But whatever. It's actually kind of a shame. Like, most FFs... I'm going the wrong way, aren't I? Yep, okay. Most of the FFs don't really have anything interesting about the airships. I think with very few exceptions. But I do love the idea of the ship assisting you in combat. So I'm going to land in a forest here just to demonstrate what I meant earlier about being able to land anywhere. Which is kind of nice. So, Cave of Shadows. Hey, what's up? I have come here from Falgabard for further training. Some monsters in this cave divide and multiply when attacked by normal means. Yeah, if you're playing a melee-heavy build in this place, it kind of sucks. The lore explanation for what the Invincible is doing is it's basically boosting its engines temporarily just to go, there we go. Hey, thanks for the Katesu. Appreciate it, man. Now, listen, you need a potion or something? No? Okay. I mean... So there's a whole town full of Dark Knights, which we're actually not going to. There's nothing really interesting there, but it's one of those optional towns I referenced earlier. There's a whole town of sages, too, where they talk about how Noah, after giving away all his power and mortality, died. It's weird when you think about it, in connection to itself, but whatever. Also, this dungeon kind of sucks. I know I've been saying that about a lot of dungeons in this game, but, I mean, I'm here to tell you the truth, and, well, that's my job. This dungeon kind of sucks. You can tell it's the Darkness dungeon. This way, maybe? Yep, there we go. This way... no? Is it over here? It's over here. There it is. Yep, there we go. And then down. You can kind of see why I don't really care for this dungeon. I mean, the fact that there's multiplying enemies here kind of sucks. See, the way you prevent the enemies from multiplying is you hit them with a dark sword. So this is the dungeon that's supposed to tell you, hey, come here with a bunch of Dark Knights. But, you don't actually have to, as long as you have Enknun. It is actually possible to plow through this place without Dark Knights. It's not recommended. The enemies in here aren't even that lucrative. So it's not like in FF4 where if you find an enemy that summons other enemies or splits into other enemies, you get a bunch of experience from it. No, this is just irritating. Oh, I'm going to grab that one. Yeah, I have Enknun on just to help. I just looped. God damn it. So it's going to be this way? Oh, I just went that way. No. The only good thing is that most of these little side passageways are actually pretty obvious where they are, but, pretty sure we're looping. Oh, nope, we're not. We're good. Phew. Stasis is my answer to you, Kay. Again, most of the people who are in stasis didn't even recognize that they're in stasis. It was just... and then they're out. The best FF dungeon across all FF? I like the Crystalline Core. I like Kefka's Tower. Both of them aren't just thematically awesome and from games I love, but also have some unique and fun mechanics to them. I like Ultimicia's Castle, believe it or not. It is also a very well-designed, very interesting dungeon. I'm sure there's others. And there's the fire horn. Or earth horn. One of the horns. Earth. Earth. Who dares disturb my slumber? When I did the Switch clavier, name changing was not an option. They hadn't actually implemented that yet. My favorite FF job is usually Dragoon. I very much enjoy the concept of Dragoons. Even though they're actually kind of boring when you think about it. They're still cool. I also love the concept of a red mage, even though it's basically never been done properly. I suppose the Crystal World counts as a dungeon, yeah. Yeah, no, at the time it was just ripping off the Band-Aid clavier. I was actually amused when they came out like 4 months later with the, oh, hey, you can now switch your name thing. And I'm like, really? And some people asked, why don't you go back to the old one? Well, there was no reason to at that point. We'd already ripped off the Band-Aid. So did I mention this guy kind of hurts? This is a typical style of boss in FF3. We're going to be fighting at least 2 more of these guys. And that is these giant dudes who hit hard. They have no real mechanics to them. They are just big and they hit hard. That's actually, unfortunately, a common trend in quite a few FF3 bosses. As much as FF3 did a lot of things innovative and interesting, most of their boss design is very boring. Shrug. There's one later that even though I had been leveled my brains out, still gave me hellacious issues. Oh no, actually I didn't level before him. I'll tell that story when we got there. Sorry, I forgot about that. Thank you, Enigma. It has been an ongoing struggle, but I think it was the right choice to make. Yay! Thieves don't need monks, apparently. He does have a fairly large amount of HP, Jack. That's another... A lot of the bosses, pretty much from this point onwards, are damage sponges. Speaking of which, the next series of bosses are also pretty rough. I hope you have the teleport spell or teleport items, by the way, because otherwise you gotta go all the way out of this place. It's okay, teleport was a thing even in the NES version, so... It's not that bad. Wow, Blue Wolf. I mean, that doesn't surprise me too much. Where is it? Oh, there it is. You know, that battle did actually kind of hurt, so let's heal up really quick. If I can remember where. It's right here. There it goes. So yes, there's even a free inn in the Invincible. I gotta be honest, when I was first playing this game on the NES, keep in mind this is around when FF7 had come out already. So I was well a veteran of the FF series when I first played FF3, the English translation. But even still, I was kind of blown away by the convenience features and awesome factor of the Invincible. I appreciate the effort, Enigma. So now we gotta do this again. I remind you, this area has encounters. We obviously aren't, because we have Ink None on, but just keep that in mind that you have to do this little thing while having encounters. In my experience, on average, you have about 1 encounter every 2 hops. So, you know, and then trash fight. Then trash fight. You know, something like that. Sometimes you have one every 1 hop. Yeah, back when convenience features were something you just didn't see in video games, let alone RPGs. Anyone remember when RPGs were actually a constant pain to play and you just put up with it because there was nothing else? Or as my friend Gary likes to put it, you remember when we drank sand because we didn't know what water was? Just making sure I'm going the right way. Which I am. So I want to demonstrate something for you guys, if that's okay. If that's not okay, well then that sucks. Yeah. I might be able to? Hang on. Let's get in a save before we do this. How's that sound? Yes, I have Enknun on bio. Save. There is no Enknun built into the game, by the way, to make that clear. That is a cheat. Oh, I also like Invincible's song. It was probably the first song in FF3 that I really was like, dude, this is an awesome song. It's not the only song in FF3 that I liked. It's just one of the first. I also like the song for Eureka and the song for the last 2 dungeons. It's gotta be like right around here. Drinking sand is bad. Well, it depends on your opinion. I know people, to extend the metaphor, I know people in real life who think that there's nothing wrong with drinking sand. And, honestly, there is a matter of opinion there. And preference, you know? Some people would prefer to be drinking sand. Hell, Javan and I have talked about that extensively. Where is this? I thought it was right around here. We did that yesterday, running with Grace. Although I did it on purpose this time, just for fun. Alright, I'm gonna have to go get the Nautilus. This is too slow. Yep. And yeah, I feel like they... Well, I mean, I've already talked about this. This isn't really a true, proper remake of Amazing Awesome like the 4DS is. It is merely a low-end proper remake. Still good. But, you know. Okay, so. Let's figure out what this damn thing is. Yes, that was on purpose. Why do you think I saved right before I did it? Yes, I'm trying to find the Iron Giant's cave. No, it's around here somewhere. Yeah, by the way, as I think I already pointed out, the Nautilus was even faster in the NES version. I am in way the wrong area. I need to be over here. Ugh. Hang on. 1 second. Oh, it's not even there. Right. I actually literally can't get there because it's not on the map yet. That would explain it. I was pretty sure I was in the right area. Well, so I don't get to show you the actual fight, which is fine, but I want to show you what I've been doing. So, yeah, you can take the Nautilus into here. In fact, you can, and in fact, have to take the Invincible here to go after Bahamut. So, where is it? Somewhere around here. Well, it's not that large of a place. Somewhere, here it is. So you're supposed to take the Invincible all the way over to the floating continent. Hop over this thing, and that's the Bahamut cave, I'm pretty sure. Or the Bahamut's lair, excuse me. Now, the reason that's significant is that is the best leveling in the game, right there, and you can get to it as soon as you have the Invincible. So, for anybody who wants to play this game legit on the DS, that cave, that's where you level, okay? The enemies there are really easy, like really easy, even by this game standard, or especially by this game standard, excuse me, and they give a fairly large amount of exp. There are later areas in Eureka and in the Labyrinth which actually give more exp, but are much rougher and you don't have access to as early, so... This is my preferred leveling spot right here. Now, as I think I told you earlier, I spent about a week leveling there. Now you're like, well, how did you even manage that? Well, see, if you use this quick save feature, what happens is you immediately go back to the title screen, right? With me? Now, the way the quick save works, it's basically a pause feature. It's not a real save. Because once you load the save is deleted. Okay? So once I hit continue, that quick save is gone. I would have to then quick save again to pause it. So I was just in that cave non-stop for about a week, 20 in-game hours, just quick saving and leveling off those guys. So I get out of there. I leave, and I'm like, alright, time to go get to a place. I didn't save because I'm an idiot, and I went pretty much straight north, and right around here somewhere. I don't remember the exact location, but it's right around here somewhere. There is a sunken place, and I looked at it like, I don't remember that being a thing, and I had no idea what it was. So I landed at it, and then I walked inside, and then I fought the Iron Giant. Now, for those of you not aware, once you start the fight with the Iron Giant, you can't run or flee. It is the super optional boss of this game. And, so I died. He wrecked me. I actually put the game down for several months after that, because of how much time I had lost to that. Yes, it's my own fault, because I hadn't saved, real saved, but wow. By the way, there's nothing indicating that it's the super optional. It's just, here's a cave. Oh, okay, what's in here? Iron Giant! Anyways, let's get on with this. Where am I going? This way, right? So, what's about to happen is a weird example of something that really only happens for gameplay purposes. There's not a lot of story explanation for what's about to happen. The best story explanation I could come up with is that Doga and Unei really want to die. I mean, we already talked about how, they envy Zande. Whoops, let's save before we do this. It is time for Unei and I to give you what we have prepared. Your eternal reward. Seriously, this... Even when I was playing this for the first time, I'm like, okay, really? I mean, this is a trap. Although at the time I assumed it was because Doga and Unei were evil, which is not the case. Although that could be debated. Honestly, to be completely blunt, especially by this time in real-life history, there's no reason not to use the type of save system that, for example, a PC uses. It is worth noting that FF15 does use a PC style of saving. As it should. I don't know why I'm looting. Sorry, guys. I was infused with the power of looting there for a second. Hang on. Just making sure there's no switches in here. Nope, okay, we're good. Did I come from there? I cannot tell you how happy I am to have no encounters in this section, by the way. What a shock, more cowbell. A Dragon Quest game has sold very well. I wonder how good it is. I suppose I'll find out next year sometime. By the way, I do hope to do a premiere run of Dragon Quest XI. Just a heads up. There we go. So, after going through a fairly rough dungeon, Doga and Unei are like, hey, what's up? Good, you've come. We must now make the key to Eureka whole once more.
That's right. Put him up.
What? But no, we can't. Listen to me very closely. In ancient times, there were weapons too powerful for mankind to use. Those weapons were sealed in Eureka, but now their time has come. And the Eureka key needs the energy from Doga and myself to be complete, understand? No, you can't. We can't fight you. It must be done. Have it your way. If you do not defeat us, you will die. Or to quote FF7, fight as though you will kill me. If you do not, I will certainly kill you. And then Doga turns into this. I don't know. Oh, right. Encounter. Oh my god. Hey, Agamemnon. Welcome back. I am glad that you have your computer functional again. So this is actually a pretty rough boss fight, but it's not like the hardest boss fight. It's not as hard as several of the boss fights we've had thus far. That's not actually the point. Lorerun. Oh, yeah. I need to talk about that. Oh, you're at work. Damn it, Agamemnon. Well, that sucks. Kind of Panuma, yeah. See, the thing is, several games in general have the, turn into a monster to fight thing. FF3 is just bizarre with it. Without explanation, without warning, 99% of the guys you fight, who look like ordinary people on the overworld, just turn into monsters without explanation or reason. So, I mentioned earlier that this is more of a gameplay thing than a lore thing. We don't get to pause or heal or anything in between fighting Doga and Unei. Now, you might be like, well, that sounds really unfair. Oh, yeah, by the way, that's what Unei looks like? I don't know. Anyways, the reason that's relevant is because there are quite a few things in the last dungeon, in the last stretch of FF3, that are basically this. You don't get a chance to pause, you don't get a chance to heal, there's no there's no saves. If you can't do endurance fighting in FF3, you will not beat this game. And the last boss of this game is basically the hardest boss of this game. Now, this is kind of a cheat because the general explanation here is that, well, we want to make sure that you can do our crappy game design, so we're going to give you a tutorial crappy game design first. But that brings me to what is probably my single biggest complaint about FF3, and I know everyone talks about it, but it is so atrocious that it is worthy of note. There is, and I'll showcase it later, but you get to a point, and you can save, and then you have to go through the labyrinth, and then you have to go through the initial tower, the crystal tower, and then you have to go through the world of darkness. There are no saves anywhere between those 3 dungeons. A lot of the bosses in those 3 dungeons are very rough. The last boss at the very end is the hardest boss in the entire game. Yeah. What's funny is we do not have save states this particular playthrough. I think we did last time, and I think we used them last time, so I'm going to be a little more cautious and a little more excessive in my usage of cheats when we get to that point, because it is immensely unfair. Hey, Full Metal. So, Doga and Unei have killed themselves. They give us the Eureka Key, which we will not use. There's no reason to. Spare yourselves the distress. Our souls will still remain, even if our bodies are lost. You must go forth and stop Zande. He is in Cycrus Tower, or Circus, or Circus, or... I don't know, it's the frickin' Crystal Tower. You must banish the darkness from this world. I know you can do it. I can see the light within you, each bright and strong. The light of courage, the light of kindness, the light of affection, and the light of determination, which is funny, because I would actually say Ingus meets affection and Refia meets determination better, but whatever. Your hopes and desires all turn into light and give you strength. Banish the darkness from this world, warriors of the light. Oh, and take the key. You'll need this. Bye. And then they super die. Anyways, yes, Agamemnon. Lore walkers equal you guys. Did I already... Looks like it didn't stick. Alright. Honestly, more cowbell, I wouldn't be super surprised. Alright, I need to get the hell out of here. Yes, even after that mess, they still don't give you a way out unless you teleport. Just adding insult to injury. So this is the point at which, like, every FF game from 3 onwards has this point. It's the, well, you can go... oh yeah, I'm going to save right now just in case. In fact, I'm going to get a backup save going for this one. Every FF has this concept from this one onwards. You can go to the last dungeon, or you can go do optional stuff. We could go get Odin, we could go get the best gear for the sages and the ninja and whatnot. We can get the we can get Bahamut. I think we can get Leviathan. I actually forget all of the optional stuff there. There's actually a decent amount of optional stuff, given the fact that this is a NES game. We will be doing none of that, just as a heads up. We won't even go into Eureka, but we will be getting the Earth Crystal. Hey, Anselmo. The Cloud of Darkness hasn't actually been mentioned at all. She is kind of a Necron, although I would argue she is far more thematically significant than Necron is. Although I know that the argument could be made that Necron is thematically significant. That's... Yes, we could also get Onion Knight as of this point in time, assuming we did the Mognet thing, which obviously we have not been doing. Oh, here's another town we didn't go to. I knew there was a third town that was optional. I don't remember where it is. Invincible, Invincible. There you are. All right. So first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna heal. You can tell it's a hard game when, despite having cheats, I am a little worried about the last dungeon. Yeah, I don't know, Bio. I haven't seen any lore jogging lately. So. So we're basically going to the end game now. And by basically, I mean literally. There is technically a mini-map in this game. They have a spell called Sight. Sight reveals a small area around where you're at. So, like, you could see most of that northeastern continent if we cast it right now. As you might imagine, that doesn't help that much. It's the actual same mini-map we had in the SNES FF4. Yeah, God damn it. Hang on. Ah! Mountains. I think this is the right. Let's do a secondary save just in case. So you can actually come here at basically any point in time, unless you have the fangs. However, these things kill you. They just kill you. We have the fangs, so I think we're gonna be okay. Okay, we're good, we're good. We good, yo. Yes, Clavier, that would be lore sprinting. I've actually thought about doing combination Lorerun speedruns in the future. So that's a good question, Bio. There's actually 2 answers to this. Either Zande built them, or, and I think this is more likely, the Ancients built them. So that's the Crystal Tower. I'm going to try and get you a better shot of it. Because as you can see, it's kind of big. This is the thing that only the very top of it was poking out when the darkness was flooded. I mentioned this to give you an idea of just how much darkness had flooded into the world. Yeah, fun stuff. So this is the final stretch. However, what I usually do is I rush to this point if I'm playing this game, you know, legit. And I mean on the DS version specifically. I don't even know if this works this way on the NES version. It's been a while. I've actually only played through the NES version all the way once, believe it or not. So first we have to go through the Labyrinth, also known as the Ancient's Maze. I don't like the Ancient's Maze. It's creepy and weird and long. It's not actually that much of a maze. It's just kind of rough. And one of these days I'm going to say, I like this dungeon. Actually, I do like at least one dungeon in this game. Yeah, I should probably start looting officially at this point. I believe we can officially start going back to Monk. I'm not sure. The last dungeon I'm not sure of where we might need someone other than Monk is this one. I think we can officially go back to Monk as of this point. We actually will not be going back to Monk, though. Just as a heads up. Yes, I do have cheats for FF10. I have cheats for every game we're playing. Hey, Dr. Nimbus. What do you mean, Blue Wolf? Like, if you can give me an example, I don't quite get it. Oh, by the way, there's a lot of crystal gear here. It's enough to outfit, like, 1.5 people. If you go all the way down to Eureka, you can buy crystal gear and, of course, get all of the best stuff in the game. Well, that's not true. Excuse me. The second best stuff in the game. The actual best stuff is in the very, very, very last dungeon. You know, I've been asked that before, believe it or not, Max Time. In fact, I think I was asked that yesterday. FF9 post-horrific disasters would probably be my first guess, my first answer on that one. In Lindblom, specifically. Other than that, I don't think I'd want to live in most of the FF worlds. Best dungeon in the FF series. I was asked that a few minutes ago. The off-the-top-of-my-head answers were the Crystalline Core in FF4, Kefka's Tower in FF6, and Ultimecia's Castle in FF8. Ink Nun is definitely a cheat. There is no built-in Ink Nun in any fashion in this game. I don't think I need any of this stuff, but you never know. Just being thorough. Yeah, FF6 was the first game to actually include built-in Enkanon. Okay, so we're going to get a safety save in here. And we're going to switch over to Monks. Interesting concept, Blue Wolf. I mean, other people do lore runs. I just don't think anybody uses the term lore run other than me. So, I just want to pause because I love this song! Am I muted? I'm not muted. Probably not, K Snow. Kai Snow. I have no particular intention or reason to do most of the optional fights. Oh, god damn it. Did I miss him? I think I missed him. Hang on just a sec. It's Sis. Oh, and Loremum's rereading the Dragon Riders of Pern series. Hope you enjoy going through it again, period. It's been a while since I've read that series. Comma, I think it was your copies, actually, period. And then... I know, right? Exclamation point. I would love to live there if I made way more money, period. Sis and I have been house shopping just kind of on the side, and we both found a place that's really awesome. And even on a mortgage is about $2,400 a month. And if you don't understand what that means it's way out of our price range. Anywho. So... I think I missed something. Hang on. It's time to bring up... Because I thought I should have gotten the Earth Crystal back in the maze. I was! God damn it! I went the right way on accident. Really? Really? Thank God for Enknun. Seriously. I hate it when I do that. I hate it when I go the right way on accident. So, real quick thing, for those of you who don't understand, if you're renting an apartment or a condo or whatever, it's usually more expensive in a per-month ratio than a house. Obviously, a house costs more over time. You know, a $200,000 house sounds like a lot, but a $200,000 house can equate to about $400 a month. By contrast, getting the same size of apartment would probably be closer to $2,000 a month. Make sense? So in other words, this isn't true everywhere, of course, but a good rule of thumb is the mortgage for a house for equivalent size is going to be a lot cheaper than the rent on an apartment for equivalent size. You with me so far? And that's something to keep in mind when you start house shopping, whenever you get to that point in your lives. So for a mortgage to be $2,400, yeah, it's a little pricey. Sis's actual response was that if she and I combined our total funds, we would not be able to afford that place at all. And she's right. Oh, I missed one. Yes, that includes insurance and escrow. No, it wasn't a mansion. It was a... Hang on. Mortgages are a complicated topic that, honestly, I don't want to talk about right now. I could discuss mortgages at length, and the goods and the bads of them. Most people think of mortgages as a bad thing for an obvious reason, but there are actually benefits to mortgages. But then again, there's benefits to a lot of things, as long as you don't abuse them. Cough, cough. Hang on, where did I put it? Oh, here it is, here it is. Sorry, found it. Okay, so. This is a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 2,400 square feet in Vancouver, Washington. The property taxes would be about $500 a month. Home insurance would be $200 a month. That's the low end, of course. God damn it, I can't believe I went the right way by accident. Alright, so, story time. I beelined for this crystal, because this crystal basically gives you the end game jobs, most of which are upgrade jobs for your existing ones. So, that means you have to fight another one of these stupid guys. I told you, we fight these giant dudes a few times. This guy, Titan, is insanely difficult. Not from any proper difficulty, he's got a lot of health, and he hits hard. Actually, no, you do need to get the Earth Crystal to enter the Crystal Tower, so you actually have to do this. And yeah, you can actually do this before the Doga and Unei fight. I don't actually remember if I did or not. But I know I went here very, very early. I might have gone here before Doga and Unei. The reason I did so is because you get the really nice jobs from him. It kind of is, Kai Snow. Honestly, playing through this time with cheats on has made this... It's a relief. It's like, oh, thank God I can just cheat through this game. But anyways. So, I went through here, and I honestly don't remember what I did other than face grind. I remember I fought this guy something along the lines of 15 to 20 times. Seriously. Just over and over and over. Just, come on. Nope. Yeah. Nope. Yeah. Nope. Yeah. Nope. Now, I was, of course, pretty low level at the time, but that was part of the point. The whole point was I actually wanted to have access to these jobs earlier. Then I got access to the jobs. Then I went off and started leveling. You'll notice this guy is almost a carbon copy of the last boss that we fought like this. It's just he has higher stats. He's got the swing. He's got Quake. That's it. Come on. Yes, we are level 99. That is something to keep in mind. It is possible to do more damage than we're doing, but not by much. So, the Crystal Tower is awesome. Yay! So I know you guys wanted them all to be monks, but honestly, I am worried about the endgame, so we're going to be switching to masters on everyone here. Black belt, sorry. Black belt's what it's called here. Black belt is basically just a stronger monk. And by basically, I mean it is literally just a stronger monk. It is the exact same setup, just better in every way. The lowest level I have beaten an FF at? Can we count Chrono Trigger in that? Does that count? Probably not. Okay. So now... If we're counting Chrono Trigger, then I have beaten Chrono Trigger with Chrono at level 1 and my average party level at around the 20s. And the only reason it's that high is because of Magus. Otherwise it'd be even lower. However, that was a task. It is worthy of note. And involved a lot of planning. However, other than that, I would say probably FF6 at about level 30-ish, which it is mathematically possible to beat FF6 at an even lower level. I actually did some looking up on this. Apparently, it is possible to get your average party level at roughly 8 and still beat FF6. And I was like, oh, okay. And I thought about... maybe I should go ahead and do that and see if it's worth a shot of doing it. Then I looked up what it requires, and I decided it would be too boring, to be blunt. There's too many bosses where the strategy is just can't be killed and slowly work that through 60,000 health or 30,000 MP. And that is a very, very boring thing to do, and a huge number of bosses just involve slowly slogging through their health or mana pools. And that's really boring. So, no, not interested. Well, you can do a level 1 run of Dissidia if you know what you're doing. And I actually do know the setup for it. And you can artificially set your level to level 1, so I could emulate a level 1 run of Dissidia. No, I have never been that good, Bio. In fact, at this point in my life, I don't think I could do anything but the most basic of tosses, because it's been so long. So we're actually going to turn off Enknun for a second. Actually, hang on. Maybe we don't have to. No, we do. We do. We do. So we're going to turn off Enknun. We need to be mastered. We need to not be nerfed on our classes here in order to be able to do as much damage as possible. And I kind of want to increase our job levels a little bit too. One unfortunate thing, and this is actually a problem even for a normal playthrough, only people who take actions level up, or level up their jobs, or get job points or whatever. So, if you'll notice, it only takes me 2 of these people in order to beat this guy, which means 2 of these people don't get job ups because they didn't take actions. And again, that is actually a problem even when you're playing this game normally. Ugh. I don't know how many fights this is going to take, so just be patient with me, guys. So... you know, I don't remember if defend counts. I actually don't. Let's find out. Use garbage weapons. It's actually been a while since I've job grinded in this game, so I'm not actually sure. God, I can't believe he hit me that hard. This is a trash fight. I just want to remind you. Just some random trash fight. We're not even in the second to last dungeon yet. We've already gone through the third to last dungeon. Okay, guarding did count. Okay, we cool. We cool, guys. We out of it yet? Oh my god, how many jobs is it going to take? Or how many fights? Come on. Yeah. Oh yeah, one nice thing about the DS version, it actually memorizes attacks across battles. Now, that may sound like a who gives a damn kind of a thing, but what I mean by that, it actually irritates me how many FF games, how many games in general, have memory as a cursor option, but it's not across combat. So for example, let's say I choose attack, guard, guard. Now, as long as this fight is happening, that keeps, that memorizes that. But the moment the combat ends, it defaults back to regular attack. So every time you start a new battle, it's like down, 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 guard, attack, down, 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 guard, attack. And that actually irritates me because the whole point of the memory feature is to memorize the slot, not just for one freaking combat. Ugh. Alright, almost there. Wow. Given how early it is in the day, we might actually start FF4 today. I kind of figured it would take longer to get through the rest of FF3. Not that I'm complaining. Oh, FF4. That's going to be the first one I'm really going to be talking a lot during. And I would be astonished if we beat FF4 today. I'm not even sure that's possible. This is effectively the DS version. This is specifically the Steam version. Yeah, FF4 has stuff to talk about. I mean, these games do, it's just not as much. Thank God for Anknon. Oh my god, really? Why are you so terrible? Why are you so terrible? Yes, this is the DS version, which has also been on the PSP, which has also been on the phone, which has also been on Steam. I believe the only specific changes to the Steam version are the achievements, who cares, and the upscaling. They did some upscaling for some of the cinematics and whatnot in this version. And some of the the models, not the textures. And yes, FF4 DS will also be the PC version. My favorite class in Lotro? Guardian. No hesitation. You'll notice our damage is going up, by the way. I mention this because, as I think I talked about quite a while ago, your job level for a lot of classes is part of the calculations for how much damage you do and how much healing you do and how much spells you do and all that fun stuff. So as my job levels are going up, my actual damage is going up as well because of that. You know, I wonder... Can I... I'm going to try something, and I'm going to save before I do it. This might crash the game. That's why I saved. Aha! I need 4 more battles to level this to get rid of the job adjustment phase. Let's reduce that to 1. And where is it? Black belt. As I think I mentioned, I really want to mega cheat here because this last dungeon is brutal. So we're just going to officially mega cheat. And well, actually, this is still not mega cheating. This is like super cheating what we're doing right here. But we're doing it. Okay. His job adjustment level is 2. 2 more battles for him to finish up. And set that to that. I will never... Mega cheating would take longer. It's the only reason I'm not doing it. If I have to mega cheat, then I will. But I'd rather not because it takes a while to go through every single thing and adjust every single stat individually for 4 characters, which is how these cheats work. Because I'm editing the RAM directly through Cheat Engine. And that doesn't always work, too. That's the other thing. There we go. Okay. Let's see if that worked. If it did, I'm not going to save until we find out if it worked, so let's just find out. I don't know, actually, okay? I need to hack more time, Polbos. Wait, I'm hacking too much time! So, another encounter. If I could get the button. There we go. So hopefully this will hit for more. Okay, quad 9. That's what I wanted to see. Perfect. That is exactly what I wanted, right there. Okay. Save. Second to last dungeon, guys. Crystal Tower. I do love the music in here. Although I actually love the music of the World of Darkness even more. Eureka's got some good music, too. So Oh, right. Thank you for reminding me. Let's turn Enknun back on. We definitely want Enknun for this section. Sheesh. So this is Eureka. Now, I mentioned we weren't really doing this, and we're not. I just want you to hear the song. I'm just going to shut up for a second so you can hear it. Sorry, I like this song. Still not my favorite song of this game. We're actually still getting to my favorite song of this game. I have a couple things to say about Necron, but nothing new, though, honestly. Yeah, you notice we beat FF1 in like 3.5 hours, right? And that was without Enknun, because we didn't have Enknun. And as usual, giant crystal tower. Sad fact, they never explained the lore of this place. Like, why is there a crystalline tower up here? Where the Earth Crystal happened to be. Now, it is implied that this is where the ancients, the actual ancients, used to be. In other words, the group of people back when the Warriors of Light screwed everything up. Those people, this is where their central capital was, or whatever. The evidence we have for that the fact that Eureka is here, the fact that they're, the most powerful crystal is here, the fact that the Crystal Tower is here, which itself is supposedly an ancient device, since, ancient labyrinth and all that, etc., etc. If there is Shihali, I don't remember it off the top of my head. I'll be completely honest about that. We do know that the Eureka and the ancient maze thing were here as a direct consequence of the Warriors of Light completely screwing things up, which is a good time to start talking about that. So the Warriors of Light completely screwed things up. I don't mean these four. See, about 1,000 years ago, because it's always 1,000 years ago, there were there was a lot of people who all followed the light and engaged in, light things, and just the power of the light spread throughout the land, and it went a little bit too far. And there was so much light that it flooded the world in light, which was bad. And the world was destabilized from its balance and was about to be destroyed. Seriously. Kind of like how it is right now, except with darkness and light reversed. So, what happened was 4 legendary heroes rose up in order to defeat the light. And those 4 legendary heroes were the Warriors of Darkness. I do like that, by the way. It's a cool thing. I've already talked about that, so I don't have anything new to add to it. It's just a neat concept that I felt was actually pretty advanced for its time. Yeah, there's a tornado siren going on. Sorry, guys, if you can hear that. I just roll my eyes at it, Mugen, honestly. I mean, really. So, Warriors of Darkness were the heroes of the previous cycle, and I can't tell if I'm going anywhere. Nope, I'm not. I need to go this way, I think. I think? Come on. There it is. There it is. Found it. Oh, I'm fine, Kay. They run it, like, every week to make sure the sirens still work. For those of you who don't live around tornadoes and whatnot, that's a fairly regular thing. It's actually funny because they test the sirens regularly in order to make sure they work, which means if, for example, an actual tornado started happening around, I don't know, the middle of the week, which is when they usually test those, most people probably wouldn't react to it because they're just testing it. No, actually, I'm nowhere near a tornado. In fact, there hasn't been a tornado that's touched down around here in I don't know how long. A long time. Even when I lived in Kansas, no tornadoes touched down the entire time I lived there, which was about 15 years. Anyways, so the Warriors of Darkness saved the world from the flood of light. Now, this is where we get into speculative stuff. We do know, and this has been enforced by Dissidia, but we knew this even without Dissidia, that 1,000 years ago, when the light was overwhelming throughout the course of the world, the cloud appeared. Now, the reason I keep referring to her as the cloud rather than the cloud of darkness is because which element she is of depends on what is destabilized. In other words, she, back then, 1,000 years ago, she was the cloud of light, not the cloud of darkness. And she looked really cool. In Dissidia, she actually has a separate outfit, showcasing what she looks like as the Cloud of Light. And that's my personal favorite outfit for playing as her. Anyways, off topic. This gets into the speculative stuff. What is the Cloud? Now, we don't know. I'll just go ahead and give you the default answer right there. We don't know. And I've heard several theories about this, but they all boil around 2 general concepts. Either she is an aspect of balance, or she's an aspect of imbalance. The idea being that what she seeks, what she desires, if you could even call that for a creature like her, is to balance things out. When the world is flooded with light, she becomes of darkness. Or she becomes of light, excuse me, and when the world is flooded of darkness, she becomes of darkness. The other idea is that she is an avatar of imbalance for about the same general reason. The idea being that she actively seeks to destabilize everything. The idea behind that theory is that several times she refers to the void. Yes, that void. As I've mentioned several times, there is one void throughout the FF series, and this is the same void. So, the idea is that she might, if this theory is true, if she is an element of imbalance, she wants things to be destabilized so that this world sinks back into the void. Sense make? However, as she is presented in Dissidia, as Shihali points out, and several of her actions seem to indicate that she is more an avatar, if you will, of balance, that she is something that, well, she's a storm. Now, for those who don't know what I mean by that, in real life, what a storm is it is a consequence of the weather, for lack of a better term, trying to re-stabilize an imbalance. In other words, a storm is the method by which imbalance in the weather cycle, there's a term for it, I can't think of it for some goddamn reason, but a storm is the method by which climate, thank you. The storm is the method by which a climate balances itself out, right? That is what a storm is and does. That's how those happen. Something was imbalanced, storm fixes that. You with me? So the idea is that the cloud, even though she manifests as the cloud of whatever is wrong at a particular spot in time, she is a natural consequence of that. She comes through as a result, as a storm to try and correct this imbalance, trying to even things back out. Which of these is true? I have no idea, and it's up to you to interpret and determine. And admittedly, Dissidia kind of threw more information into this because, again, in Dissidia, the cloud is very clearly on the side of balance. We actually talked about that as we were going through Dissidia Duodecim. So, up to you guys to interpret what you want from that. Personally, I like the idea more that she is not evil so much as that she is just an aspect of whatever is too much right now and is overall a neutral element of balance. I just like that idea more. It seems to fit more with the tone and themes of the game. My opinion. I should probably get the ribbons, shouldn't I? Yeah, basically, Kay. It could be argued that the cloud isn't even sentient or sapient, although that is heavily debatable since she clearly identifies and has an intellect to communicate. And, on top of that, this is another interesting thing. So, officially, the cloud has no gender. I'm going to keep referring to her as her, because most characters actually refer to the cloud as she, so whatever. But the cloud herself tends to refer to herself as we. Now, it's relevant to mention this because that's not to say that the cloud is an amalgam character. This isn't like an Exdeath situation, although there are some clear parallels between the cloud and Exdeath. But obviously, there's a lot of parallels between this game and FF5. Anyways, the idea here is that the we is her plus those things that are with her, those tentacle things, which are also aspects of whatever she is. So when she's saying we, it's literally because she has people with her, not because she herself is a them. Make sense? So I make it a point not to call her we because of that. Because she's not a we. She is a it, technically. Okay, so let's get a protect ring on him. Man, I have no gear. I think I will go ahead and get the ribbons. I sigh at you, Kai Snow. I'm gonna call you Case now, just this once, in reaction to that. And yeah, as Shihali points out, in the DS version of 3, they kind of slant it more that she is in favor of imbalance rather than balance. Oh, this scene. Okay, so it probably doesn't look like it because I have Enknun on, but just reaching this point in the game is kind of rough. And then there's this room with these crystal dragons for some reason. This is interesting. Those who see their reflections in that mirror become afflicted by the curse of the 5 worms. This is the first time the Final Fantasy series has pulled off this concept. And it's not exactly the best presentation of this concept, but I do like this concept, so I'm willing to give them a credits on that. And here's part of the reason why. Remember, the reason we can keep up with any of this crap is because the 4 crystals have imbued us. Otherwise, we would just be 4 kids who have no ability to do anything. But I kind of like this idea. So Doga talks to us there, and he's like, "Don't worry, I got this. Stay there, I'll be right back." So Doga starts running around throughout the world and picks up 4 other people. 4 other ordinary, not imbued with the crystals, nothing special about them people. This is actually kind of cool when you think about it. So Doga's soul, appears before Princess Sarah and is like, I need you to come with me. So she's immediately like, I got this! By the way, it's worth noting she has a crush on Ingus, just as Ingus has a crush on her. Just saying. He's probably going to be a prince in the future. So that's Princess Sarah for Ingus. And he appears before Sid. And Sid's like, dude, I got this. And he's going to go help heroes. Narratively speaking, probably Nils Wager. Although it's worth noting, nobody really knew about the Curse of the 5 Worms up until this. So this is actually kind of amusing. You remember when Desh jumped in there? Well, that was quite a while ago. In fact, it was one of the earlier events in the entire game. Ah, Desh, I'd hoped you'd still be here. Alas, Desh died, except he totally didn't! Psych! Now, as much as this is a cheat, because everything about both the NES and the DS version makes it look like Desh is sacrificing himself, I like this because not only is it funny, but it makes a surprising amount of sense. The idea here is that for most of the game, remember, when we did this tower, this was way back, before we'd even left the floating continent. For pretty much the entire game, Desh has been in the tower fixing it. He has spent the whole game fixing this goddamned tower. A few more seconds and the floating continent would have been toast. What? I'm sorry, that makes me laugh every time. I also like the idea of, normal people or little people doing something in the background that also helps the story, rather than just everything be sitting on the heroes. Speaking of normal people who are ordinary and cowardly and pathetic and worthless, but are much better than Gordon, I present to you this guy. Alice? I don't know how to pronounce it. Prince Dude. Don't and his friends need your help. Honestly, Desh really did help the setting out a lot, let's be clear about it. Yeah, Alice, or Alice, I don't know, is quite young. He is not fit to be king. But you know how medieval settings go. And of course, this is the one that really makes me smile. The final person who helps us is one of the 4 heroes of light. And I admit I am a sentimental sap, but I like the idea that these 4 old men, who are basically completely ordinary people, who have no special talents of any note, and who were trying to fight against the idea of becoming old and middle-aged and not really being worthwhile by pretending to be heroes of light, get a chance to actually be a hero. It's only one of them, which actually doesn't make a lot of sense to me, but whatever. But I love the idea that one of them gets the chance to really help in a significant way, even though he's just a guy. So you might be like, how are these people going to help? Well, the way this curse works is actually quite clever. It's one of those rules curses. I'm sorry. I'm just going to leave that on screen for a second here. The way this curse works is that someone... Someone clip this so I can tweet it. The way this curse works is that once you look in the mirror, the 5 worms all concentrate their energy into you and lock you in, right? You're frozen. The only way to get out of it is for someone else to willingly take the curse upon themselves. Each of them. One person has to hop off to each of the curses. So you need 5 people to show up and absorb the curse of the worms for themselves in order to bypass it so the heroes can continue. And I mean, that's pretty clever. Not a lot of situations are going to be able to get around that. Hang on, I gotta pull up this here, just really quick. Hang on, I need to tweet this. There we go. Anyways, moving on. So yes, the 5 of them are going to sit here and pretty much just eat the worm's power and accept the curse unto themselves so that, you know, we could move and get the hell out of here. And it's time to fight the final boss of the game. This is it, guys. This is the guy we've been leading up to this whole time. He's also his one and only on-screen appearance the entire game. Ladies and gentlemen, Zande! I don't know why his skin looks like that. I don't. Like, most of the other people are pretty ordinary-looking people, but for some reason Zande just looks blue and has yellow eyes. I don't know. So this is kind of a rough fight. I'm not reading his dialogue because there's nothing really to read there. Well, that's why I don't like Amano. To be 100% blunt. Never have, never will. I think he has gloves on, Thanatos. So I don't know how much health he has, but I don't think he has 39,997 health. We'll find out in a moment. Wow, he does. Holy crap. Anyways, this is a kind of a rough fight, but not that hard. It's just, you know, there's some difficulty to it. This guy is probably easier than every single boss after him, including the optionals. Let me guess, he had 40,000. He had to have 40,000. Well, 40,000 to 48,000 or so. But my death will not change a single thing! The Cloud of Darkness. By the way, this is the very first time the Cloud is even mentioned in this game. Is already here. Okay, 49,999 HP. Got it. So unfortunately or otherwise, we don't actually really see the Cloud here. We just see that. And, you know, if you're going to have the DS remake, why not give her a real model? So she talks about returning... Excuse me, we are the Cloud of Darkness. We have come to return the world to the void. We shall engulf everything in our shadow, and both light and darkness shall return to the void. Your light is strong. We shall start with you. So, yeah, even in the NES version, she looked like that. So, last boss time. Oh, I need to add 2 to the encounters. Alright, we got this, guys. So first we're going to take out the tentacles, the Wheeze, I mentioned earlier. Alright, so we're doing 1 damage. I'm worried, but it's okay. We'll make this happen. Okay, we got this. We got this. Also, notice the heartless symbol on her forehead. It's not actually a heartless symbol, I just find the thought amusing. Okay, maybe we shouldn't attack the tentacle. Maybe that's our problem. Oh yeah, by the way, Particle Beam is kind of her signature attack. And we died. Well, crap. When was the last time I saved? Oh, that's right, outside. It's actually okay. We are supposed to die there. Or go to downed, I should say. No, the moment she uses Particle Beam, it's scripted to end. She always does Quad 9 with Particle Beam. in that particular fight. Later on, which is his particle beam, it only hits for like 2,000 or 3,000. So get your bets in now. Do you think we will die to the cloud? Because it is actually possible, especially since we have no healing other than a couple of elixirs. So, in case you missed that, Doga and Unei basically just used the last of their souls or whatever in order to res us, get us back up from downed. So, oh yeah, this is where they implied that the only reason Zande was doing any of this was because the cloud was influencing him, which again is kind of part of the DS version, trying to imply that the cloud is in favor of imbalance rather than balance. So, whatever. So now we go to the World of Darkness, which, honestly, I actually really like this dungeon, even in, like, the old version and in the DS version. This is, without question, my favorite dungeon in this game. I'm gonna go quiet for a second. This song is without hesitation my favorite song in FF3, and one of the very few songs I feel was truly improved by the DS version. A lot of the songs are debatably better or the same, or in some cases worse than the original NES version, but this song, they really did a good job with the DS version of this song. So, welcome to the World of Darkness. Love the style of this place. Enemies here are kinda rough. There's several optional bosses here. And by optional, I mean, you'd better go fight him or else you're screwed! So, we're going to be getting all 4 ribbons. In so doing, we will be fighting Zande's clone. I don't know why there are 4 Zande clones in the World of Darkness. I really don't. But, whatever. I have not played it notably. I am aware of it, though. So the Zande clones are actually kind of rough. I know they don't look like it. Basically, they are glass cannons. They are pretty much everything about Zande except harder and weaker, if that makes any sense. Less health, more damage, basically. But if you're asking for a lore reason why Zande's clones are here, I don't know. We'll put one on you first. Ribbon. So, the ribbon protects everything. Oh, that's right! There's also 5 ribbons here, aren't there? Or are there? I don't actually remember. Anyways. No. The 4 Zandes of Darkness, maybe? I don't know. What was that? Upper right, I think? Man. So yeah, this is unusual dungeon design. Because the cloud uses bad breath, basically. And if you don't get them, then you're just rolling the dice into whether or not she's just going to one-shot you through status effects. Keeping in mind the cloud is quite difficult even if you have all 4 ribbons on. One nice thing, though, they do make the ribbons actually have decent stats in addition to protecting from ailment, so it's not like you're just getting the ailment protection. Also, we don't learn a lot about the World of Darkness. I like to think that there is basically an entire other world that is the World of Darkness that looks kind of like this. I just enjoy the thought. I do not like ramen, although I am told that there is actually good ramen out there. So one theory is that the world of darkness is actually, to use a Kingdom Hearts term, on the edge of the void. You know, closer to the void than the world of light is. Oh, that'd be awesome, Shihali. The cloud takes the form of whatever is elementally, whatever is imbalanced in the world at the time. Whoops, I need to backtrack, don't I? There we go. So, when the world was flooded with light, she became the cloud of light. When the world was flooded with darkness, she became the cloud of darkness. The reasons why are debatable, but that is what happened regardless. I think part of what I like about this place is that it's a typical crystal last dungeon. I mean, most FF last dungeons have some kind of crystal element to them. But it's not completely typical. To me, the aesthetic of this place, especially in the DS version, has always made me think more of energy. Like, these are literally energy platforms, you know, like hard light, to use the Mass Effect term, kind of a thing, rather than literal crystal. It's probably supposed to just be crystal, but I enjoy the coloration and the style of which they do it. No, little Billy, there's just the one. Hey, man, Darton. Quick recap of everything in the game. Okay, it's bad guys and you gotta beat them. There you go. Or Energon Cube, that's another way to put that. Or Dark Materia, I could see that too. Again, that's just how I look at the aesthetic. That's just on me. But I do love the aesthetic of this place. And like I said, this is basically my favorite dungeon in the game, despite everything. It's rather short. It's kind of rough. It's very cool looking. I love the music. And as you can see, if I'm remembering correctly, which I might not be, all 4 of these pathways lead to the end. So if you just want to zoom through, you can. But if you want to get all the ribbons, you backtrack a few times and get all the ribbons. Which is, of course, what we're doing. So what's your guys' interpretation? Is she of balance or imbalance? Because really, it boils down to one of those two. Oh, shoot, I forgot to talk about that. Oops. So, this is one I would save state if I had access to do so. I do not. So, I hope I don't die. I forgot to... Well, I guess I could talk about it. It was just a little note that actually occurred to me last night when I was... So I tend to digest fiction in my head. I know that sounds weird, but like after I watch a movie or after I play a game, I don't stop thinking about it for quite a while. So last night, as I was doing my stuff for the end of the night, I realized there was a subtle touch earlier in the game, which is surprisingly subtle for the time. It's not super subtle for, you know, modern fiction or modern gaming, but for a NES game, this is actually pretty impressive. Hey, Rai, Okami. Also known as Awesome Artist. I noticed I just got a PM. I'm curious if that's you. So, all the way back when Castle Argus was attacking that one town, right? And was like, rawr, and you know, Hein had taken over and all that fun stuff. Anybody could be forgiven for assuming that that's basically just bad writing. I mean, remember, later on we have the Kingdom of Sironia, where all the soldiers are willing to just do whatever the king says because the king says it. So... you know, okay, we will go and we will kill all these random people and murder and burn and enslave just because the Chancellor says is what you're supposed to assume. But if you pay attention and you talk to everyone, you notice that none of the soldiers who did that were actually the soldiers of Argus. And if you remember, the one soldier we fought who was working for Hein was actually that demon guy. Remember him? The floating demon dude who had no lower half? The implication here is that none of Argus was ever actually evil. It's just Hein kind of took over and then either corrupted or replaced several of the soldiers with his own. And because all of the actual soldiers refused to do something so horrible, he just locks them up with the rest, like the king. And there's several soldiers locked up there in the tree in Castle Hein. And that's it. That's all I've got. It's just a subtle little touch that I am impressed that a NES game managed to pull off. Anyways. It depends on the game, specifically, Blue Wolf. Amano must die! All death to Amano. Look, I'm sure Amano is a very talented artist. I have to say it that way, though, because I just don't see it personally. I personally do not like Amano and his art. I should say I don't like his art style. I have no idea about the guy himself. I'm sure he's a cool guy. It's probably a very coffee situation. You know what I mean? There are plenty of people who like Amano's art, so it's not really that big of a deal. You know, I just realized I probably should have fought these when I was going through them, but whatever. So, these guys do status effects. I mean, of course they do. They're Ahrimans. And, I mean, if you've played more modern FFs, you recognize these guys as status effect bosses. I mean, there's literally a boss in FF4 in the Lunar Subterrane, which is just an Ahriman who just does status effects, and that's the boss. And yes, it's Mike Wachowski. Or Mike Wazowski, or however you say his name. Ow! Like I said, Cyberman, I have to assume he's a good artist, objectively. I can't say that subjectively. Because I don't like coffee, Kamurusko. In fact, I can't stand coffee. I hate coffee. Does that mean coffee is bad? So, this is one of the Dark Warriors, one of the 4 who stopped the Flood of Light 1,000 years ago, and he has joined us. Light and darkness, one cannot exist without the other, much like the sun and the world. The sun and the world? The sun can't exist without the world? Anyways, Zande severed the link between the world and the sun, creating a world without day or night, a world devoid of time. But Zande did not foresee that his actions would call forth the cloud of darkness, or that he would be put under its control. If we do not stop the cloud here and now, not only will your world be engulfed in darkness, but the worlds of dark and light will both be devoured by the void. If we, the Warriors of Dark, and you, the Warriors of Light, combine our powers, we may be able to stop it. As we have done 1,000 years ago, let us unite and defeat the cloud of darkness. So yeah, that whole thing about the sun and world was added in, and the whole thing about the cloud taking over Zande was also added in the DS version. Just clarifying. Right. Actually, I'm almost positive the world of FF3 is one of the few FF worlds that distinctly is not a globe. You know, a planet in space, in other words. Based on everything we learn about it, it makes far more sense that this is a lot more like World B from Dissidia, and that this is, in fact, a place that was birthed from the void, and then is in danger of sinking back into it unless certain conditions are met, in this case, balance. Really, Little Billy? That's kind of weird. So anyways, yeah, we actually have to do more backtracking. I guess I didn't have to get the 4 ribbons first. I was just being cautious. I'm kind of scared of this dungeon, if I'm being 100% honest. Fortunately, I did pick up Courage, and he's not a white mage right now. Right. Okay. Idea. Oh, I can't save, and I don't want to edit stuff when I can't save, because I don't want to crash the game now. Can we... Alright, hang on. I'm going to take a risk. Please don't crash. Please don't crash. Please don't crash. Okay, we're good. 99 elixirs. We're good. Exactly, Thanatos. Yes, Jason Bauer. They went from being the definitively most powerful classes by far to just being, you know, a higher level mage, you know, an upgrade to mage, basically, and an upgrade to fighter or whatever.
Darkness will flood the world and return it to the void.
It is interesting and worthy of note, although they've kind of already mentioned this, that if the world got flooded with light or the world got flooded with darkness, it would still sink back into the void. Either thing would cause that to happen. Of these 4 bosses, this is the one I remember giving me the most problems. I don't actually remember why. I just remember him being a bastard. Okay, with 4 elixirs, or 99 elixirs, and hitting for Quad 9, I think we're going to be okay for the Cloud. We can cheat more if we have to. Yes, really, I could actually cheat even more than I'm currently cheating. I've already mentioned how a lot of the enemies in this game get multiple actions per turn. Some of the really hard bosses get around 4 actions per turn. 4. Now, if you don't understand why that's significant, I want you to picture the whole way that most people balance bosses is by making them do a significant amount of damage relative to you. So, you know, obviously we get 4 actions per turn because there's 4 of us, but the boss was already designed to be able to withstand us despite the fact that he is doing 1/4 of our actions. Now quadruple that. Or in short, this goes back to the old concept of 1 + 1 = 5, which I don't want to get into right now. The balance between light and darkness is kept by the 4 crystals. Crystals of wind, fire, water, and earth. When Zande halted the flow of time, the light of 2 of those crystals was sealed away. Because of this, the balance between light and darkness shifted drastically, and gave birth to the Cloud of Darkness, an entity whose sole purpose is to return the world to the void. The Cloud of Darkness tried to seal the 2 remaining crystals located on the floating continent, created the earthquake that you witnessed, almost drew the floating continent to the surface world. The Cloud of Darkness is powerful, but with our powers combined, we can defeat it. If you don't... Okay, I guess I'll go ahead and talk about this. The concept is... In certain, this is true in real-life math, but also in quite a few video games, you would think linearly 1 character, or 1 player, plus a second player, the total damage output of those 2 players, or those 2 characters, is double 1 character, right? But mathematically, that has been proven not to be true. Additional players or additional characters tend to have more of a multiplying effect. So 2 players can actually do the overall damage output or capacity of, say, 2.5 players or 3 players. Or I should say 2.5 times the 1 player or 3 times the 1 player, to be more accurate about my math here. And that's the concept here. The fact that the bosses can take 4 actions per turn, or 3 actions per turn, or 2 actions per turn doesn't double their overall output. It increases it by a multiplying factor. Because there's more to be, because this isn't linear math, in other words. Balancing in a video game is never, well, I shouldn't say never, is very rarely truly linear math, and requires taking into account additional variables. It's one of the reasons why in a lot of games, being able to hit a lot of times for less is better than hitting a couple of times for more. Oh yeah, I do that every day, Mandarton, don't you? Yeah, AoE attacks really throw this out of whack. Imagine Quake, 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 Quake. I'm pretty sure that would flat out kill me, and I'm cheating. So Cerberus, he's not fun either. None of these bosses are fun, let's just be honest about it. Every single one of these is harder than Zande, and Zande wasn't exactly easy. Actually, I am not Little Billy. How does it work? Oh yes, as a reminder, you still cannot save. Even in the original... I mean, obviously in the original NES version you can't save. But in the DS version, in the remake, made in 2006, I believe, you still can't save. At any point. Like, the last time you could save was way back when we entered the Crystal Tower. Well, I did say usually, Dakota. Same speech. Light and darkness, attracted to each other, yet keeping themselves at a safe distance. They coexist in a precarious balance. Why does he always look like he's frowning? If light and darkness come into contact, they cancel each other out, and nothing is left where they meet. That is the void. The universe began with the void, and so too shall it end. However, there's one force that stands against the ever-present threat of the void. It is what you call hope. That's actually not true, demonstrably, even just in this game, but whatever. In time, the void will consume the world, but now is not that time. As long as there is hope in the world of light and in the world of darkness, for as long as hope prevails, the void shall be kept in pay. You cannot use tents. There are no save points. There are no heal anythings. You walk in here with your magic and your item inventory, and that's it. And that's all. Whoops, I keep doing that. This is the purest example of a straight-up endurance run. And on the original NES version, it sucks. The only good news is that several of these bosses are actually easier in the NES incarnation than they are in the DS incarnation. I actually don't know if you can teleport out. I have never been brave enough to do so. And I'm certainly not going to do it now without save states. Yeah, I would honestly say this is not the properly hardest, but the hardest in terms of artificial difficulty dungeon, or finale, if you will, in the series. So we have 2 more bosses, which means we could tell you the encounter counter right now, basically. You know, I am not teleporting out. And as is pointed out, if you teleport out, you could basically recover, but you are losing most of your progress. The only things you wouldn't lose, of course, are the bosses who would remain dead. And I know you haven't seen them, because I'm cheating, but the trash in here is no joke either. Yeah, this is an excellent last boss song, Renegade, I agree. Hey, Elder Scrolls. By the way, for those of you who care, Elder Scrolls Legends is now on the phone, just as a informative thing there. The ribbons can definitely help. Blah, 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 darkness void, blah, blah, blah. So, she sucks. Have I mentioned all of these bosses suck? All of these bosses suck. I think I've mentioned that. Ah! Fear. Actually, you know what would be cool? They need to have more combo bosses. Like, remember how in Kingdom Hearts 1, you had to fight Squall and Cloud side by side, and it was one of the harder bosses in that game? They need to have more things like that. Oh, crap. Hang on. Pull this. And thank you, Renegade, if I didn't already say it. We're up to $23 for Tidus Fantasy X. So, at one point in time, I was saying something. I don't actually remember what. I was being like, and so the one thing I really fear is, and then someone subscribed and startled me, and so cut off my sentence. So we just kind of kept saying fear now every time someone subscribes. Stop frowning, dude, come on. The cloud of darkness had also appeared when the light threatened to engulf the world 1,000 years ago. We, the Warriors of Dark, managed to stop it then, at great cost. No, God no, Mugen. 1,000 years later, the balance between light and darkness has inverted. Light had existed around a core of darkness, but now darkness revolves around a core of light. But the light has lost its brilliance. The overflowing darkness is threatening to extinguish the light that remains. A flood of darkness. Only you, the Warriors of Light, have the power to stop it. Except that's also not true. Oh, that'd be awesome, Jack. Yes, that would drive literally all of us crazy. Oh my god, you're right, little Billy. They're all Bizarro Superman. Okay. So this is actually it, guys. Let me check. I was gonna say, we get healed after these. Yes, we are literally walking on clouds of darkness. Not the cloud, just clouds. We are walking in the realm of the world of darkness. I kind of wish we got to see... Well, there's no kind of. I absolutely wish we got to see more of this place. I would love to know if this is what the world of darkness normally looks like, or just because it's been flooded right now with darkness. I always got the impression that those clouds down below there are basically what the... You remember how when we went to the overworld in... when we first left the floating continent, and the whole world was flooded with that liquid darkness I mentioned before? I love the idea that this is that. It's just, it's flooded the world of darkness now. Actually, Enigma. You'll see. And as usual, she doesn't have a sprite for no reason. We are the cloud of darkness. Sorry, I can't do... What's her face? Allie Harris or whatever. None shall stand before the flood of darkness. With it we will bring the void to this world, and your world of light as well. Heroes don't need plans. This is the world of darkness. You cannot defeat me with only the power of light. Laura Bailey, thank you. That is why we're here. So this always irritated me. I kind of love the idea of, like, maybe the Warriors of Darkness literally join the party and, like, have the same stats as your guys to reflect that whole balance thing or something. But no, what happens is the Warriors of Darkness suicide bomb the cloud. Okay. Whatever. And that actually weakens her? Somehow? I don't know. I got nothing. Last boss, for real. Okay. So first we're just going to attack. If we get 4 full rounds of attacking... Oh god, I'm attacking the wrong target. I'm attacking the wrong target! No! Okay. That... I admit this version of the final boss theme is by far my least favorite version of it. Even the NES version of this song sounds better. By the way, you notice she's getting 4 actions per turn? I kind of talked about that earlier. Okay. Attack her. I'm going to gamble and not heal until next turn. Heroes don't need balance. Yeah, the Black Mage's version is my personal preferred version of this song. Although even it has some issues. Yeah, I'm thinking we'll heal this round. let's be cautious. I really don't want to die at this point, so we'll just have everyone elixir themselves. We have slightly worse equipment than we should have, but very slightly. We didn't go and get the crystal gear, and we didn't go and get the Eureka weapons. That's it. We have the ribbons, which are the best helmets, but we don't have any actual armor on anyone. Oh yeah, there's what Particle Beam actually does. The good news is every time she does Bad Breath, she's effectively wasting her turn, because we bothered to get the ribbons. Okay, so we're gonna split up a little bit now. Yeah, Particle Beam always hurts. There's nothing for that. Particle Beam just hurts. Oh yeah, you notice we're actually not hitting for Quad 9 anymore. It's because she has Protect on. Despite the fact that we have ludicrously high stats. Like, seriously, we're level 99 black belts who are level 99. And yet we're still actually not doing full Quad 9 against her. With Protect on. So yes. Ooh, okay. We're good, we're good. So we're going to spend another round healing. Heroes need elixirs. We should have named them that. And you get around attacking. Yeah, this is not a battle to auto Aeon, even while cheating. That's why I'm being cautious. Please don't let me die. If I die here, then you guys can officially call me the worst gamer in the universe. Oh yeah, I should probably mention that I've always presumed that the whole reason for her appearance there, this is kind of true on the NES version, but not as much, is that she's literally poking out from the void itself as she is attacking us here. Yeah, safety strats for the win. God, she does so much damage. Just thinking. Nah, I'm just gonna keep with it. Just keep with it, just keep with it. Don't try to get fancy, Laura. Full round of curing. Ha! That would be cool, Jack. One of her costumes has green skin. Or maybe it's, when she goes into EX mode, she has green screen. I forget which exactly. It's one of the two. But she can look green in EX. Oh, Holly just said it. So please don't particle beam this round. Please. Okay, that's 2. What did I just say? God, particle beam hits so damn hard. Oh my god! Alright, I'm gonna be risky. I really shouldn't, but I'm gonna be risky. It's very easy to fall behind on this boss. Anybody who's played any FF knows exactly what I mean by falling behind on a boss. I actually don't know, Mugen. If she does, I'm screwed. Thankfully, I haven't used any Phoenix Downs yet this playthrough, so I still have a few lying around if I need them. Yeah, death looping, basically. Okay, there's 1. Lightning. That's bad, but not as bad as it could be. Particle beam. God damn it! Just bad breath me! Okay, he lived through it. Never mind. God! Okay, okay. This... It's very difficult to recover on her, especially, because 2 of her attacks, 2 of her 4 possible attacks, are AoEs. Oh, I'm with you on that, online gamer. Okay. It is within the realm of possibility for her to not kill plans. If she does... Nope, he's dead. I'm not going to get him up again. He's going to stay dead. He's just going to stay dead. Please don't kill Need. Please don't kill Need! Oh, God. Okay, okay. We literally need to be attacking, though. That's one of the problems we're faced with here. If we don't, we will just fall into an endless cycle of recovering. So I need to start kind of staying low and getting some hits in. Oh, okay, we're good, we're good! Ugh! Because she has a lot of health, and we need to be whittling that down. 120,000 if memory serves. Oh. God damn, okay. I was actually getting worried there. Plans are dead. Yeah, this is a hard game. Have I mentioned that before? In the beginning, there was the void, and then everything came out of the void. The sky, the land, the fire, water, and life. Time flows to bring them all back from whence they came. But life gave birth to something unique, a shining force that divided the light and darkness and illuminated the world. The light of hope! With a capital H! Oh God, it is him! Time will come again when the balance between light and darkness is broken, and four will be chosen to restore it. Do not forget that what gives the four their power is hope, capital H. Hope inside each and every living... Oh my God, hope is in all of us. No! Dream, despairs, love. Time will consume all, except for hope for some reason. This is cheesy. I'm just gonna say it. I like a lot of endings of the FF series. And, I like, you know... I like a happy ending, but this is saccharine. You must find the one last speck of light, that one feeble hope. I skipped a sentence there. Yay! Now, that being said, other than that whole, you know, hope is love, blah, blah, blah crap, I do actually like the rest of this ending. Heroes don't need plans! I know you can do it. By the heavens, you've done it! Oh, I had no doubt you would succeed. Man, you guys are something. Work is my passion! Let's go. It's time to go home. What time is it? So, this is kind of a cool ending. And they did this ending in engine. Of course, they had to, back on the NES. But my point is, this game had a proper ending on the NES in engine. The FF1 and FF2 hadn't done that, and Dragon Quest 1 and 2 hadn't done that. I don't remember if Dragon Quest 3 had a proper ending on the NES, to be honest with you. So we take him back, and he's like, oh, hey, boys. Welcome back. Glad to be back. Thanks again. You saved the world, you know. I'm not 100% sure how to do it, Mugen. I think you just skip the Magnet step and go straight to the optional area. I think. And so, we drop off the old man at What's-Her-Face Town, Amber or whatever. Then we take the King of Sironia back to Sironia. Fun little side note. Remember, Doga just teleported in, grabbed King Alice, and teleported out. I love the idea that while we were off saving the world, the kingdom was just self-destructing, as it's like, oh my god! Where's the king? Has anyone seen the king? He's only 8! Where is he? God, he might be out playing with butterflies! Quick! Comb the countryside! Search everywhere! We can't... Oh, he's right here. He's back. Okay. We're cool, guys. We're cool. Thank you, Warriors of the Light. I will strive to be as strong as you in serving my people. Thank you and farewell. Okay, I'll believe you, Shihali. God, it's been so long since I played Dragon Quest III on the NES. I've only played it the one time, and that's when it came out. Ugh. Thus, the Warriors of Light were executed for stealing the king. I mean, Chrono Trigger has the precedence there. So I'm going to look at the encounter counter list here. We had a bunch of people guessing, but the actual number of encounters in FF3 is 37. We're almost at Canaan. Here, let me write down the 37 that we did get. 37. There we go. Yep, 37 encounters, which means, let's see, Lazy guessed 22, Frieza guessed 40, I guessed 45, 7th guessed 35. So it looks like... looks like 7th was actually closest, 2 off. And then Frieza was 3rd closest with 3 off. Highlight the winner there. FF2 was 517, which is our largest so far, and will probably be the largest amount for the entire Lorerun. I'm getting off here, too. Oh, hey, Desh. Forgot you were even here. FF4's current names? Well, we've got Cecil, Kane, Rydia. Well, I have some unfinished business, if you know what I mean. Yeah, by the way, remember, Desh left his girlfriend, who had plot sickness, I remind you, back in town, back in the very beginning of the game. Like, it was the fourth town we ever reached. Ever. And then he left, helped us, fixed the floating continent, and then came off to save the world. So he hasn't talked to her in the entire game, basically. He's not coming back until the ending. Great boyfriend here. Guys, don't be like this. Girls, don't be like this either. So Sid's like, hey, wifey. 7th won the encounter counter, Mugen. Selena, I pledge my love to you. Promise me you won't leave ever again. Of course not. Now, if you excuse me, I've got another adventure to go to. Bye. Can't be outdone by those young'uns, can we? Quick, smooches. Smooch, 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 smooch. They don't actually say this, but it is implied that Sid and Mrs. Sid do actually get smoochy there. Sorry, got carried away there. Guess I did too. Hey, don't forget to come get me if you're going adventuring again. You're not going anywhere, Desh. Right, of course not. Yeah. Come visit us anytime. You have to sample Mrs. Sid's dinner special. By the way, they literally call her Mrs. Sid in the game. That's not me making that up. Thank you, but I have to see my father and train to be a good blacksmith now that I've saved the world. That's something that I kind of wish some games would analyze. What the hell do the heroes who saved the planet do after they did it? Like, in some cases, they go on to some kind of finale that makes a degree of sense. You know, FF4 actually had a pretty good epilogue for most of its characters, for example. But these guys are like 15. What do they do? Also, Princess Sarah pretty much flat out says, Fert. And then, of course, Ingus is like, And what happens in Ingus's head right now is, Girl! How do you go back to a normal life? Why would you want to go back to a normal life? Is it even physically possible? Is it mentally possible to go back to a normal life? I mean, post-traumatic stress is a real thing. I've been through stuff in my life that has given me post-traumatic stress twice. And I haven't gone off and saved the planet. Yet. So anyways, hey, to pop up. Oh yeah, by the way, we had a mother, an adoptive mother. I actually forgot she even existed. I knew you had it in you. I'm proud of you. Oh, she even has a name. Holy crap. What? Can you wait like 5 minutes? We're in the ending. Stupid dog. Nobody likes dogs. Except for like my entire chat right now. Welcome back. Thanks for saving the world. You're welcome? What do you say to that? Yeah, the warriors of light are real. Let me kiss you. Princess Sarah's like, no, no, you don't. Those lips are mine, lady. The world was saved from darkness. The light within you has saved us all. Okay, fine. I'm sorry, guys. I gotta let the dog out. I'll be right back. Anyways, hey, thank you, Warriors of Light. Oh, suddenly we're bathed in light. Wait, too much light is a bad thing. We actually just discussed that. Guys, no, not too much light. I don't have a dog, Final Cloud. Oh, you're talking about me. Yeah, okay, never mind. The darkness has gone, but we need darkness. We just went over that. Can we not have a flood of light immediately after we have a flood of darkness? Immediately after I have a flood of light? If I felt like adding to some of the complexity of the story, which it is worth noting is not in the story, I would add the fact that each time, you know, each cycle is a reaction to the previous cycle. Like, literally. You know, we had the flood of light, and it's like, whoa! And so we were kind of going against light, you know, pendulum effect. And so people were more inclined towards darkness, and then we had a flood of darkness, and it's like, whoa! Back to light. And yeah. Heroes, level 99. Don't! Level 99. Need, level 99. Plans, level 99. Princess Sarah, Furt. Sid, oh ho ho ho. Desh, also a Furt. Princess Arya, dead. King Aelys, his father's dead. The four old men, they're kind of cool. Doga, dead. Unei, dead. I'm not sure what's up with the parrot. Yeah, go ahead, Mugen. Hey, look at all these classes we never used. Gotta have a Dragoon. Dragoons are very important. And Onion Knights. And fighters. Getting ready for the next time, Kelson? I could see that. Basically, yes, Jedi Mew. Why are you showing your midriff? I mean, arguably the parrot is also dead, so... Oh, yeah, I should be telling you. So that's Dragoon, obviously. This is Viking. Dark Knight. Summoner, I believe. Bard. Black belt. Sage, excuse me. Or white mage, excuse me, black mage. Or no, white wizard, black wizard. And then elder summoner, I forget what it's actually called. That's sage. And then ninja. No, I don't love you. Go away. Sorry. I think's okay? I don't actually remember that much. The Invincible. The Invincible. The Djinn, for some reason. Medusa, I think? Garuko? God, I can't remember his name. That's Hein. Hi, Kraken. Goldor! Straight out of Power Rangers. Garuda! Or Gigameth. Zande! Oh, and you guys. Depends on where the actions end up, Kay. Who goes first and whatnot. I was going first almost universally last time because I'm level 99, and so I have very high agility or whatever. Also, I already knew about that, Mugen. Yeah, sure, I'll make a save. Why not? Might need it sometime in the future. You never know. We've now crushed Finland. 6 hours. Apparently it took us 6 hours to beat FF3. That's actually a little longer than I thought it would. Ladies and gentlemen, Final Fantasy III. Not exactly the most beloved of the series. If it was a lot easier, I think it would be a lot better thought of. But, as I've already said, that's one of the main problems. I am going to take a bit of a break, and then we're going to stream only for a little bit. But I will be back with this little-known game called Final Fantasy IV. I don't know if you ever heard of that game, but, Hoip. See you there, guys.